The man didn't say anything after waving out the stages. Even if no one went on the stage, he still sat there calmly. The man didn't say anything after waving out the stages. Even if no one went on the stage, he still sat there calmly. 5 minutes passed quickly. One blue-faced immortal emperor tertiary stage couldn't resist flying to the stage and placed his challenge jade card into the ring. When he landed there, no one challenged him, but more immortal emperors flew up. In the blink of an eye, 9 out of the 10 stages had someone on there. Before the 10th person could go up, an extremely white-skinned woman charged towards the 6th stage. There was a handsome-looking man on the 6th stage. He had a metal fan. The woman charged up and said nothing. She released a huge pair of scissors. It instantly turned into a huge scissors shadow and sliced towards that handsome man. Even though the stage was covered by restrictions, people outside could still feel the powerful and lethal force of the scissors. One could imagine that without the restrictions of the stage, that pair of scissors would destroy the nearby space. This scissors shadow's remaining power struck the border of the restriction, creating ripples. When people didn't fight, no one came up. When people fought, it was this intense. Everyone knew that the woman probably didn't come for the spot. She came to kill this handsome man. The handsome man saw this and yelled in fury, "Bao Huiping, are you crazy?" The woman said nothing and just attacked more and more crazily. There was even red mist appearing on her body. Clearly, she was burning her essence blood. Seeing this, the man released his metal fan that turned into a heaven-covering black cloud, stopping the woman's scissor shadow. Sword rays flew out of the black cloud, tearing Bao Huiping's domain to pieces and even some of her clothing. Bao Huiping didn't care and attacked more crazily. The blood mist surrounding her grew thicker. She was almost naked, but she didn't care and kept attacking the man like crazy. One could see how furious she was. Rumble, the scissors clashed with the metal fan as the scissors' shadow dispersed. Bao Huiping was struck flying out. Her huge scissors smashed against her. She didn't even have the power to take her magic artifact away and just kept panting. The handsome man was covered in wounds. There were multiple holes in his fan. He didn't look as mannered as before. He walked towards Bao Huiping hideously and was about to strike with his metal fan. The audience saw this and sighed. Bao Huiping's battle will was stronger, but the difference in power between them was too huge. Just when the man was about to kill Bao Huiping, the scissors suddenly exploded. Countless shadows struck out, and in less than 1/10 of a second, they completely surrounded the man. The man reacted quickly and took back the fan, wanting to block the explosions, but even so, countless blood holes appeared on his body. Bao Huiping suddenly jumped up and struck out thousands of sword ray shadows. These sword ray shadows formed a huge thick net that struck the wounded man head-on. Splurge bloodlight flashed, and in this short time, the handsome man was split into tens of pieces of meat. A terrified essence, spirit, seeped out. Bao Huiping released a flame and burned the essence, spirit, to nothing. At this moment, she finally eased up and put on some clothes. She picked up the storage ring and fan and jumped off the stage, disappearing into the crowd. Seeing this bloody scene, the rest of the people were a bit dazed. Although all means could be used, rarely did they see such a gruesome battle. No one would burn essence, blood, and god essence to go in, because without top-level medicine, they couldn't be recovered. After the bloody battle, more people fought on the stage. People were starting to get killed. At the start, people fought one-on-one, but later on, there were battle royales. The powerful being sat on the side and closed his eyes as though nothing mattered as long as you put your jade card in. An immortal emperor who was smashed down from the stage was extremely furious and wanted to go back again. However, a huge palm reached over and crushed that immortal emperor to powder. This immediately woke up the nearby people. There was at least one rule here, and that was everyone could only come up once. Gradually, the battle royal reduced, but Yi Mo was in no rush. The incense had only burned less than halfway. He would only go up when it was almost out. Clearly, quite a lot of people thought like EMO. As the match went on, stronger and stronger people went up. An axe-wielding immortal emperor peaked stage, and a long-haired woman made EMO keep an eye out. He found these two beat their opponents in a few moves and didn't need to use much god essence. The blue-faced immortal emperor, who went up first, was still standing there. Yemo also noticed a few half-divines who were planning to go on at the last moment. At this moment, a purple-robed man charged up onto the 5th stage. Seeing this, Yemo immediately became excited. If he wasn't experienced, he would charge up. Luckily, he stopped himself. He would have to wait till the battle was over before he went up. Otherwise, he might be fighting a 1 versus 2. That purple-robed figure was the man he had chased from the immortal realm until here. The man that might have the 5th stone stool. Seeing this man, Yemo made up his mind. If the man won, he would go to the stage and challenge him. If the man lost, he would give up the challenge and hunt this man. He wasn't going to rest until he got the 5th stone stool. The purple-robed man probably didn't expect Yemo to come here. No one dared to scan their spirit sense around here. There are countless powerful beings, and those with strange tempers could kill you for any reason. On the 5th stage, the purple-robed man fought a gray-robed immortal emperor. The gray-robed immortal emperor had won 8 fights in a row, with one of them being 2 people ganging up on him. He killed 5 people and showed no mercy. His magic artifact was a blue lighting pike. It had an lightning effect. Ordinary immortal emperors couldn't stop it at all. Yemo understood this way of competing. They would go on first and show their means to scare off people from challenging them. Seeing the purple-robed man come up, the gray-robed immortal emperor snarled. He killed 5 people quickly to scare people, and yet this insolent purple-robed man still dared to challenge him. He would kill the purple-robed guy quickly in case people came to challenge him again. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1998, Adamantium Great Vehicle Painting. Chapter 1998, Adamantium Great Vehicle Painting. When the purple-robed man just came up, the blue lightning pike was already released. Previously, his opponent used fist-sized lightning balls, but this time there were heaven-covering lightning needles. Each one was a few inches long, and in the middle of the needle was a lightning ball that was larger than a fist. When these lightning needles and lightning balls fused together, the audience realized that they formed an 8-trigram formation. Yemo didn't watch the gray-robed immortal emperor. He wasn't scared of lightning element attacks. He watched the purple-robed man. He probably would fight the man, so he would need to know his means. Although Yemo didn't care about the lightning formation, the purple-robed man didn't have Yemo's capability of devouring lightning. Before the lightning formation formed, he released a huge drum. Yemo had How Heaven Drum and had only used it once. When he was weak, he didn't dare to use it. When he was strong, he didn't need to use it. Yemo wondered which drum was stronger. With a dong, sound blades struck out from the drum. Even with the restrictions, some of the audience were affected. Those who were weak-powered moved back. After this initial sound, the remaining sound echoed nonstop, with each wave stronger than the previous wave. The gray-robed immortal emperor's lightning formation slowed, and the lightning needles and balls seemed to have been stopped by the sound waves. The gray-robed immortal emperor's face sunk. He could tell this purple-robed man wasn't so easy to deal with. If it wasn't that his foundation was unstable, he might not be a match for him. In that instant, the gray-robed immortal emperor used countless hand signs. The nearby domain space ripple could be seen with eyes. The drum sound only stopped the lightning formation for a brief moment, and then it swept at the purple-robed man again. The purple-robed man was very calm, as though knowing this would happen. He activated the drum again. Dong, dong, dong. One sound was already enough to stop the formation. These 3 sounds was each louder than the one before. The formation surrounding the purple-robed man paused. and was about to cripple. The gray-robed immortal emperor's face changed. He didn't expect the drum sound was this terrifying. Only he knew how terrifying the drum sounds were. Each sound would cripple his domain a bit, while the purple-robed man's domain was a bit stronger. Most importantly, the drum sound seemed like a huge hammer that struck the bottom of his heart, making him feel helpless. It was as though he couldn't even use his god essence and could only wait to be torn apart. The three sounds echoed again, forming attacks like tidal waves. The gray-robed immortal emperor couldn't hold it anymore. He spat out a yellow mist that immediately smashed on his lightning formation. Immediately, the lightning needles and balls exploded. Huge explosion sounds came that instantly covered the sound waves. Tens of thousands of these needles were activated and exploded, tearing apart the purple-robed man's immortal emperor domain. The purple-robed man's face changed, and he struck the drum even more. Dong, 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 6 consecutive strikes, and the sound blades instantly blocked most of the lightning needles. But a small part still pierced the purple-robed man. The purple-robed man's heart sunk. He didn't expect this immortal emperor had such means. That yellow mist could activate the lightning formation attacks and make them tens of times stronger. The reason he came up was not just for the Mu-Hua God Mountain, but for the blue lightning pike. Its origin wasn't ordinary. That's why he came up early. If he got the magic artifact, he would have reached his goal. If no one strong challenged him, he would stay on. If powerful people came, he would get off immediately. He had watched this immortal emperor for a few matches and knew his god art. He didn't expect the immortal emperor to have such a powerful god art up his sleeves. He received some injuries and couldn't hold back anymore. He struck the soul-robbing god illusion, drum crazily. Asterisk dong dong dong. Fong fong fong. Asterisk the sounds changed to a ghastly sound. Before it was murderous, but now it was ghastly, as though countless ghosts were passing by. Even the surrounding environment seemed ghastly. The gray-robed immortal emperor was calmer than the purple-robed man now. Countless yellow mist sprayed out. The lightning formation that had dimmed down due to the sound blade attacks were circulating with lightning again. In the rolling thunder, waves of exploding lightning arcs and lightning needles shot out. The In-Chi drum sounds clashed with the needles non-stop and made all sorts of explosions. The fighting sound was gradually covered by the In-Chi. Ordinary people's spirit sense could no longer scan in. Yi Mo forcefully used his spirit sense blades to scan in and was very shocked. The purple-robed man was strong, but that gray-robed immortal emperor was equally as strong. Yi Mo could tell that none of them used their trump card yet, but the battle was already of this scale. If they used all their trump cards, even he would need some means to kill them. If this continued, it would probably be the gray-robed immortal emperor to win. This was beyond Yi Mo's expectations. If the gray-robed immortal emperor killed the purple-robed man, he would go up first and steal the storage ring. Just when Yi Mo thought of this, the purple-orbed man patted his waist, and a white, scary, huge skeleton wolf charged out. Yi Mo's spirit sense scanned this wolf. Its chi was at least level 9 immortal spirit beast. Yi Mo had spirit sense, so he could see the skeleton wolf immediately, but those who didn't have spirit sense cultivation method couldn't see the skeleton wolf. They could only see from the rattling restriction that the battle was very intense. As soon as the wolf came out, it opened its white mouth and bit towards the dense cluster of lightning needles and balls. It actually looked a little like Shadowless, because the wolf swept the nearby lightning needles. The gray-robed immortal emperor's domain opened up. Dong, 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 6 drum sounds came. And due to the wolf devouring the needles, there was a hole in the gray-robed immortal emperor's domain, and thus the sounds charged at the immortal emperor through this hole. The gray-robed immortal emperor was struck by the drum sound and spat a few mouthfuls of blood before flying out. Just when Yi Mo thought the gray-robed immortal emperor couldn't do anything, he released another magic artifact. Yi Mo watched this gray-robed immortal emperor intently. As soon as he released the magic artifact, Yemo saw it clearly. It was a painting. There seemed to be some monks. As soon as the painting was released, the battle scene cleared up. Yemo heard the nearby voices call out in shock. Adamantium, great vehicle painting. There were some Buddhist sounds coming from the painting that blew away the yin qi. At the same time, yellow-robed monks flew out from the painting and released their magic artifacts, surrounding the purple-robed man and his skeletal wolf. Rumble, a monk smashed a metal staff on the wolf, and the wolf howled in pain, wanting to flee. Before it could run far, another monk appeared before it and smashed down. The wolf howled again and bit that huge metal staff. The monk twisted his staff, and the wolf's teeth fell. The purple-robed man was dazed by this painting, but he immediately realized he was no match for the gray-robed immortal emperor. Before he could leave, 2 monks smashed down their staffs at his head. Yemo's heart sunk. He immediately knew that the purple-robed man actually lost. Yemo scanned his spirit sense at that gray-robed immortal emperor. He was shaking. He definitely couldn't control the painting. Even if he won, he would leave the stage. Seeing the nearby people seemingly wanting to go on, Yemo didn't hesitate and flew up immediately while putting his jade card in. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 1999. Fleeing into Mu Hua God Mountain. Chapter 1999. Fleeing into Mu Hua God Mountain. As soon as Yemo came onto the stage, the purple-robed man had the lower hand. If it wasn't that the gray-robed immortal emperor had trouble controlling the painting, he would only have to attack with the pike again, and the purple-robed man wouldn't be able to escape. But even so, the purple-robed man withered under the 2 metal staffs of the monks. The gray-robed immortal emperor was still holding on, but there was bloody mist around him. Clearly, he couldn't last long. Seeing Yemo come up, the gray-robed immortal emperor suddenly woke up. This was the battle stage, and one without rules. If he paid an extremely heavy price, then even if he won, he wouldn't be able to stop this man. Realizing this, the gray-robed immortal emperor was immediately going to take back the painting. Meanwhile, the heavily injured purple-robed man used the opportunity of the monk disappearing to suddenly go up and grab the painting. The next moment, he immediately took the painting and turned to leave. He didn't even want to take his main target, the blue lightning pike. How could Yemo let this man leave the stage? He immediately expanded his domain and hacked out with Su's crevice god art. "It's you!" The purple-robed man immediately recognized Yemo and tried to escape the stage with his life. Clearly, he knew he was no match for Yemo, but he was already at his wit's end. When Yemo activated his domain with full power, how could he escape? Yemo collected the lethal force around the stage and formed a murderous lethal force, locking onto the purple-robed man tightly. Rumble the crevice smashed onto the purple-robed man's drum, creating a heavy thud. You want to rob the 5 element. Before the purple-robed man could finish, Yemo's crevice turned around to cut the purple-robed man in half. At the same time, he stacked his spirit sense domain on top, completely suppressing his sound. In his worry, the purple-robed man wanted to expose Yemo's purpose and retreat. At this moment, the gray-robed immortal emperor recovered and smashed his blue lightning pike out without hesitation. The purple-robed man could no longer block this and made a hideous cry before being sliced to pieces. When his essence spirit came out, it was still caught by the lightning net of the blue lightning pike. A blue light flashed. Yemo, who had been watching, caught it. There had only been a few seconds between Yemo coming onto the stage and the purple-robed man being killed. When the purple-robed man was killed and Yemo grabbed the blue light, most people realized and charged onto the stage like Yemo. There were no rules, and there was the adamantium great vehicle painting. Who would want to fall behind? The gray-robed immortal emperor was too exhausted. Yemo was much more powerful than him. When Yemo killed the purple-robed man, he already grabbed a blue light from the purple-robed man's essence spirit and took the storage ring. "Leave my adamantium great vehicle," painting, the gray-robed immortal emperor knew he was no match for Yemo, but when his painting was taken, he went crazy. Yemo was planning to leave the stage, now that 3 more people came up. When the gray-robed immortal emperor attacked him, he saw the Tao Vindication powerful being who set up the stage show killing intent. Yemo didn't dare to stay here. The divine emperor's target wasn't the painting, but the blue bead he took. Yemo knew that no matter how powerful the painting was, it wasn't as valuable as the blue bead. Yemo didn't dare to keep challenging on a stage where there was a divine emperor lurking. He immediately brushed past the immortal emperors and used an instant transmission. A giant hand grabbed at Yemo, but it was only an afterimage of Yemo. "How dare you, rat!" The divine emperor saw that he missed Yemo and was furious as he chased over the space ripple. Yemo guessed right. This divine emperor not only wanted the painting, but also the blue bead. When he saw the painting, he already messaged people to get the painting for him. But when the blue bead appeared, he couldn't handle it anymore. He knew the value of the blue bead all too much. It might be a 5-element world that was higher level than a truth spirit world. Plus, the purple-robed man spat the words 5-element. Although he was a divine emperor, he didn't even have a truth spirit world, much less a 5-element world. That's why he suddenly attacked. Yemo decisively used instant transmission when he guessed the divine emperor's thoughts. If he was 1 second slower, he would have been caught. "Can you escape?" The divine emperor snarled and chased in Yemo's direction. Yemo was extremely experienced in running. How could he not know he couldn't escape a divine emperor's hunt? If it wasn't that the 5-element stool was too important, he would rather not rob the thing and leave. So when the divine emperor chased over, he chose the direction of the formation door. The dim door was still open. Yemo immediately charged in without hesitation and disappeared. The divine emperor came here and saw that Yemo dared to use this opportunity to get inside the Mu-Hua God Mountain. He was even more furious now and charged in too, without hesitation. Even if he chased to the ends of the world, he would catch Yemo and rob his items. See Yemo and that divine emperor powerful being both enter the Mu-Hua God Mountain. The rest of the people all charged in. The door was already dim. After a few more people went in, its color immediately faded and soon there was a crack. The formation door collapsed and the tunnel inside was completely shut. Since they couldn't go in anymore, the tournament was pointless. Those who paid God crystals rushed towards the sign-up place. Moments later, a huge battle erupted. Countless magic artifacts and essence, chi flows stirred. In the countless years, this was the first time something like this happened at the opening of the Mu-Hua God Mountain. When another divine emperor came to hold the scene, the sign-up place was already beaten down and those who attacked all left. When Yemo entered the door, he felt time flow like water past his body. He felt he went from birth to maturity and then old age. Yemo was shocked. Luckily, just when he was still worried, he landed. Yemo knew he was in the mountain. His spirit sense scanned out and found he could only scan a radius of 1,000 kilometers. He didn't dare to stay here. As soon as he landed, Yemo instant transmissioned again. Doing that here was carrying his head in his hands. The space here wasn't stable, and there was time chi everywhere. If he instant transmissioned into a time whirlpool, it would almost be certain death. Yemo had no choice. He knew that Divine Emperor would chase over. Yemo had no choice. But of course he could rely on the Golden Page world. If there was a time whirlpool, he would go in immediately. After a few more instant transmissions, Yemo used the 5-element mobility technique and kept changing direction. 2 hours later, Yemo used earth mobility under an ancient tree. At an extreme depth, Yemo set up a stealth restriction and entered the Golden Page world. Unless a divine emperor specifically checked where he was, it would be impossible to find his golden page world. A few seconds after entering the golden page world, the divine emperor stopped at where Yi Mo last instant transmissioned. Yi Mo didn't know this, or else he definitely wouldn't dare to stay under the tree. He thought with all the time chi ravaging here, the space ripples he created would be extremely faint. Even divine emperors might not be able to find it after a while. However, this divine emperor did. The 5-element mobility technique created even smaller space ripples than instant transmission that would disappear in just a few seconds. The divine emperor stood for a long time. He even searched the ground carefully but found no sign of Yi Mo. "I don't believe you can get away." The divine emperor searched and chose a direction to keep chasing. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2000 Spirit Controlling the Blue Bead World. Chapter 2000 Spirit Controlling the Blue Bead World. 15 minutes later, the divine emperor who chased Yi Mo sunk his face. He completely lost Yi Mo's tracks, but he soon said, 3 months later, when the Mu Hua God Mountain closes, I don't believe you won't come out. Yi Mo immediately checked his lifespan and meridians in the Golden Page world. When he went into the mountain, he felt as though his life was flowing away. After checking multiple times, Yi Mo was certain that his body wasn't damaged and he didn't lose any life. It seemed that tunnel didn't really harm the life of those who went inside. With this, Yi Mo immediately started to check the storage ring of the purple-robed man. Other than that huge drum, there were some god crystals and immortal crystals. There were also some ordinary immortal pill and immortal spirit herbs. Yi Mo didn't see anything he needed in the storage ring. He didn't even see the adamantium great vehicle painting. Yi Mo breathed easy. It seemed his guess was right. That blue bead was a decent level world. Since the painting wasn't in the storage ring, it was definitely in the blue bead. This purple-robed man's blue bead was countless times higher leveled than Qing Ru's blue bead. He threw the storage ring to the side and set up the time formation disc to start spirit controlling the blue bead. There were many Dao fruits and time whirlpools in the Mu Hua God Mountain. If you were lucky, you could learn time law near there. Those Dao fruits could quite possibly help you break through or comprehend a god art. If it wasn't for the purple-robed man's blue bead, Yi Mo would have charged out to search for these things already. To Yi Mo right now, the most important thing was to spirit control the blue bead and find the 5th stone stool to complete his golden page world. If his golden page world was complete, then he would have hope in Dao vindication. The time formation disc spun rapidly. A few years later, Yi Mo had completely immersed in the process of spirit controlling the blue bead world. 10,000 km from Yi Mo's ancient tree, a small hill surrounded by lightning light had more than 10 people. More people were still coming over. There was nothing on the hill but a 3-meter tall gray tree. It had no leaves or branches. Instead of a tree, it looked more like a wooden stick. There were 9 blue fruits on it that were surrounded by lightning. If you put spirit sense on these fruits, you would feel the endless ages of time. The surrounding people looked at these 9 fruits greedily as though ready to go up and rob them. 2 more immortal emperors came to this peak, and a red-robed man called out in shock, "Lightning Sound Age's fruit!" As soon as he said this, he charged up as quickly as possible. "The Lightning Sound Age's fruit isn't mature yet. You can't go up." Before his friend finished, this man already charged up. This red-robed man didn't think much when his greed acted out. By the time he got to the middle of the hill, he realized things weren't right. He found that no one charged up with him. Those people didn't even stop him. Not good. The red-robed man instantly reacted, but before he could turn around, he felt the endless ages press against him. He felt it was difficult to even breathe. At this moment, all he could feel was his life flowing away. The people outside saw this red-robed man slowly age. His hair turned white and his face withered. He turned very slowly, as though it took him tens of thousands of years to turn. By the time he completely turned, he was aged till he was only a skeleton. He looked at the people outside and slowly fell. When he fell, he still had bones. When he landed, his hair and skin completely dissipated. In less than 5 minutes, an immortal emperor middle stage died like this and couldn't even take a step before he died. The hill was still that hill, but those people standing outside had less greed in their eyes and more caution. However, no one chose to leave and waited for the lightning sound age's fruits to mature. For more dashing lights came 2 men and 2 women. If Yemo was here, he could recognize at least 3 of them. There was the young mistress of Hung, God Corner Hung Wan Man, Nyo Runin and the horse face. Young mistress, this is the lightning sound age's fruit, an old man called out in shock. He was the strongest of the 4, and someone Yemo had never seen. It really is lightning sound age's fruit. The young mistress gasped. Nyo Runin clearly knew less and asked, Elder Nyen, young mistress, what is lightning sound age's fruit? Elder Nyen said, lightning sound age's fruit is a Tao fruit that can help one learn time law. If you get one, you can use it to learn time law god art. It's priceless. It can grow under a 5-element environment or mutated environment. This lightning sound age's fruit is growing in lightning element chi. If you use this age's fruit to learn time law, you can have a sliver of lightning in your god art in time law. It's extremely precious. Nyo Runin took in a cold breath. She had been in the god necropolis domain. How could she not know the terror of the time law? There weren't many who learned time laws in the god necropolis domain, much less those who were experts in it. Such a Tao fruit that could help people learn time law was insanely absurd. Just as they were speaking, a few people suddenly left. Elder Nyen, since there are lightning sound age's fruits, why don't these people fight for it? Why are there people leaving? Is there danger on this mountain? Nyo Runin asked. Elder Nyen nodded. That's right. If you charge up to a age's fruit before it's mature, then it's suicide. It's completely surrounded by time whirlpools. They will disappear when the fruit matures. If you go up before the fruit is mature, it's suicide unless you're a powerful being that has complete mastery over time law. However, those powerful beings are at least primordial essence, divine emperor. They wouldn't come here. Those who left know this, so they left here to find other treasures and come back in a few days, or they went to contact their friends so they can fight for one. There's at least half a year before the fruit matures, by the looks of things. So that's it. Nyo Runin looked at the age's fruit and knew this was something that she could never get. Young mistress, why don't we go look for other things too? Staying here for half a year is a waste, Nyo Runin said. The young mistress's face was full of uncertainty and trouble. Elder Nyen, I suggest we wait here. It seems that it's going to take half a year to mature. But look at the top of the blue fruit. There's a yellow mark. It might actually mature in 3 to 5 days. The young mistress sound transmissioned. Elder Nyen nodded to young mistress with approval. You're right. You don't need half a year for these fruits. I only saw those yellow marks later. It seems it's not just us who saw this. Those who didn't leave probably all saw it. The young mistress smiled and said nothing. She just sound transmission to Nyo Runin and horse face. When the lightning sound age's fruit matures, Elder Nyen and I will go up to take it. Runin and Marshal Brother Wenyen, get ready to help us at the outskirts. We'll leave as soon as we get the fruit. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2001 Open Up Chaos World. Chapter 2001 Open Up Chaos World Crack. The thin membrane on the blue bead cracked under Yemo's spirit control, and everything in the blue bead cleared up to Yemo. The endless green lush world almost made Yi Mo exclaim. He had been running his Golden Page world for many years, but compared to this world, it was like a small hay house. This wasn't a matter of high level or low level. In terms of level, Yi Mo was certain that his Golden Page world was countless times higher than this blue bead world, but the purple-robed man has been operating the blue bead world to better completion. Rivers appeared in Yi Mo's spirit sense. There were some immortal spirit beasts running around on mountain peaks. There were plenty of level 9 immortal spirit herbs in the immortal spirit herb gardens, and even more below level 9. Immortal crystals and immortal ranges came in piles and piles. Top level magic artifact stacked up in mountains. There was this huge flag that gave Yi Mo a familiar feeling. Yi Mo immediately came to this flag. It was a flag that didn't have a pole, but emitted a powerful, ferocious chi. Yi Mo's spirit sense fell on this huge flag and soon knew where it came from. The gray-robed immortal emperor's blue lightning pike had the exact same chi as this flag. At this moment, Yi Mo finally realized why the purple-robed man was going to fight the gray-robed immortal emperor. The flag and the pike were definitely a set. Once combined, it would be a top god artifact. That purple-robed immortal emperor thought that he could definitely beat the gray-robed immortal emperor after watching a few battles, but he didn't expect that the gray-robed immortal emperor was far stronger than he had thought. He had dominated the immortal realm, but now died to a fighting stage in the god Necropolis domain. As Yi Mo moved his eyes away from the flag, he saw an ordinary stool. The moment he saw the stone stool, Yi Mo's heart started beating rapidly because he had searched for this fifth stone all too long. Now that it was right before his eyes, he almost couldn't believe it. In this boundless universe, how hard would it be to find this stone stool? But he got the stone stool and gathered all 5. One needed great fortune and luck for this. Yi Mo looked at the stone stool and saw the word water. There was also some small worlds, 5 element united, world complete. Yi Mo breathed easy. He realized what the purple-robed man wanted. His blue bead world was going beyond truth spirit world. If he found the 5 element stone stools, his blue bead world would go a level higher. He could use it to vindicate Tao and enter divine emperor state. But now that Yi Mo gathered the 5 stone stools, of course he wasn't going to use it to perfect the blue bead world. Yi Mo immediately grabbed the stone stool out of the blue bead world and came into his Golden Page world. As soon as he came here, the entire Golden Page world rumbled. Before Yi Mo realized what was going on, his water element stone stool flew out. The other 4 stone stools suddenly flew out too. They spiraled in the Golden Page world and sped up into a blur. Soon, even Spirit Sense couldn't see them clearly. The Golden Page world was rumbling louder and louder as lightning even exploded. Shadowless and small ginseng were scared and hid under the bitter bamboo, not daring to move. Yi Mo wanted to check what was going on in the Golden Page world and felt his essence, spirit hum. At this instant, his essence, spirit, seemed to about to leave his body and fuse with the Golden Page world. The rumbling continued, and Yi Mo's consciousness gradually separated from his body. Before Yi Mo could do anything, an extremely clear world appeared in his consciousness. This world seemed to be a blank sheet that needed him to complete. Yi Mo subconsciously imagined the world he wanted. He imagined a river, and an endless river appeared in this world. At this moment, Yi Mo realized what was going on. In his spirit sense and will, mountains, forests, lakes, rivers, seas, and snow peaks erupted into existence. As his consciousness expanded out, the universe, stars, moons, gradually formed around the Golden Page world. Pieces of Tao, laws, sprung into existence. The universe chi, law chi, filled the space. There was lightning, rain, ice, and snow. There was night and day. There was the 4 seasons, ice, wind, lightning, and light. All these formed with Yi Mo's will, and there was no pause. Those law power and the law of the heavens gave Yi Mo more understanding. Yi Mo expanded his consciousness out, wanting to expand his world larger, but when his spirit sense touched that obscure chaos at the border of his golden page world, his spirit sense felt a wave of pain. The next moment, he couldn't hold on anymore and fell unconscious on the ground. Small Ginseng and Shadowless, who had seen the entire process of the golden page world form, were completely dazed. They clearly saw the golden page world go from a grayish dull world into a world full of essence chi, with a red sun hanging in the east. Rivers flowed everywhere. Fishes sprung out of the waves as though rejoicing for becoming alive. "Boss opened up primordial world," Shadowless took in a cold breath and murmured. "We're primordial spirits." Small Ginseng reacted and still reminisced the process of this world forming. He knew that after witnessing this chaos world forming, they were not only primordial spirits, but could also have a world creation god art. But soon he thought of Mo and said, "Shadowless, Boss seems to be unconscious. His body doesn't seem to be right." Shadowless realized and quickly came up to Mo with Small Ginseng. Mo's face was dimming, his skin was withering. Even his life force was dissipating. "Small Ginseng, what's going on?" Shadowless asked desperately. He had always been following Mo, and now that something happened to Mo, he was really worried. Small Ginseng frowned and said after a long while, "I remembered a legend of our universe's beginning. There was a powerful being called Pangu. After he opened up the universe, he died. Boss seemed to have done the same thing, opening a chaos world. Boss's power seems much weaker than that Pangu. The world he opened isn't even complete. What do we do? Small Ginseng, think of a way. I'm so worried. What if something happens to Boss? What do we do?" Shadowless spun around, but couldn't think of a way. If it's acting cool and cursing at people, he would have all sorts of ideas, but for this situation there was nothing he could do. Small Ginseng immediately said, "We have to hurry and save Boss. Once his life force completely disappears, even the best Dao fruit can't save him." "What?" Shadowless asked. Small Ginseng answered, "Do you feel that the world law suddenly became complete? Not only that, the universe law is starting to become complete. If I'm not wrong, Boss isn't strong enough, and therefore he has to fuse with the heaven laws to make it more complete." Then Small Ginseng sliced open his arm and dripped a milky, white liquid on Mo, but Mo's life force was still slowly dissipating. It slowed down a lot, but it didn't stop. "Small Ginseng, this doesn't seem to work." Shadowless said. Small Ginseng's face was pale and stopped his wound. "Indeed, but I thought of something that can definitely save Boss." "What is it?" Shadowless asked desperately. "Chaos Tree. It's also called Tree of Life and World Tree. There's only one of this in the universe, and Boss happens to have found it. It's in here too, and it's almost 3 meters tall." Small Ginseng then lifted up Mo's arm and said to Shadowless, "Hurry up and help me lift Boss to below the Chaos Tree. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters." Chapter 2002, Ages Fruit Ripe. Chapter 2002, Ages Fruit Ripe Mo, was just lifted under the Chaos Tree, and the tree spurred out a soft golden light that completely covered Mo, feeling Mo's life force recover. Small Ginseng quickly pulled Shadowless. "Boss should be fine. Let's move aside and wait till he wakes up." Shadowless could tell the Mo was probably fine now and quickly moved aside with Small Ginseng while watching the Chaos Tree. The Chaos Tree illuminated a golden light that covered Mo and released endless life chi. Even Small Ginseng and Shadowless could feel this life chi clearly, and then they saw Mo's body starting to float. The Chaos Tree's life chi kept rushing into Mo's body. Mo's withered body became filled with life chi, and in a short time, Mo recovered to what he was before, but the Chaos Tree was getting more withered. 15 minutes later, Yi Emo opened his eyes and saw that he was floating around the chaos tree. The chaos tree's life force nourished his essence, spirit, and meridians. However, the chaos tree was only 2 meters tall now. Yi Emo quickly stopped the chaos tree from nourishing him and got up. Feeling Yi Emo recover, the chaos tree emitted a joyful chi and then devoured the nearby immortal spirit chi like crazy. Yi Emo took out a pile of god crystals and said to Small Ginseng, "Small Ginseng, quickly use the god crystals to nourish the chaos tree. I need to learn the world laws." Small Ginseng ran over joyfully. Before, Yi Emo gave him god crystals to play with, but it was just a few, not a large pile like this. Shadowless expanded his golden wings and flapped. "Boss, you almost died just then. Is the world tree this powerful?" Yi Emo didn't have the time to watch the world. He opened up. He felt a lot of world laws when he opened the world. These laws don't belong to him. It belonged to the chaos world, but he felt it once. He desperately wanted to know if he could learn these laws and use it to perfect his god art. He immediately sat under the bitter bamboo. Yi Emo started to learn the laws he felt before, but a few days later, Yi Emo could only obscurely feel those laws. He couldn't grasp anything. It was as though those laws were close to him, but when he reached out to grab it, they became very far. The only benefit Yi Emo got was a deeper understanding of space laws. He already knew a bit of space law. His instant transmission came from space law, and because he experienced the golden page world forming, he understood instant transmission better. If he used instant transmission again, it would cause smaller space ripples. As his mastery of space law increased, he would cause less and less space ripples until it eventually disappeared. Yi Emo stopped learning. No matter if he could get anything at the Mu Hua God Mountain this time, he benefited quite a lot from this. Perfecting the Golden Page world was more important to Yi Emo than anything else. Yi Emo got up and then checked his newly formed Golden Page world. He could feel the complete connection with it. He didn't even need to scan with spirit sense and could know every movement in the world. At this moment, Yi Emo knew that his Golden Page world truly fused into one with him. Unless he died, no one could take the Golden Page world from him. Mountain ranges were interconnected. Green waters reflected the mountains. A red sun hung high in the east, forming a beautiful landscape. The only thing missing were birds and immortal spirit beasts. Yi Emo was very satisfied with his world. This world was countless times more perfected than the blue bead world. The sun and stars in the blue bead world were formed by formations, but everything in his Golden Page world was formed by the 5 elements. His world was far from the outside universe. This wasn't that his Golden Page world was at a lower level, but because his cultivation level was too low. He couldn't control that vast universe void. Once his cultivation level increased, his world would expand out infinitely. Yi Emo flew up. The chaos world was his. He could subtly feel that this world was the same as an ordinary realm. If one had enough power, he could tear the Golden Page world and head towards the outside world. Yi Emo knew this was extremely hard. The Golden Page world had all 5 elements, and the world laws were becoming completed. Even the incomplete Golden Page world was very hard to tear open unless that person was almighty, but how could Yi Emo let such a person stay in his Golden Page world? He could leave now, but he didn't choose to keep cultivating. Although he gave some god crystals to Small Ginseng, he still had tens of thousands of god crystals left. However, he was in the Mu Hua God Mountain now. He can't miss this opportunity. Since he came, he would give this place a good search. The mountain was this big. There was no way that Divine Emperor would be this lucky to encounter him again. At this moment, on the Lightning Sound Age's fruit hill, the lightning was starting to disappear. The blue color on the fruit was gradually replaced by yellow. The chi of time gradually seeped out from the fruit. Everyone outside the hill held their breath. There was more than 20 people here, and most of them knew the fruit was about to mature. The young mistress of the hung-off corner suppressed her excitement, and sound transmissioned the lightning sound age's fruit is about to be mature. I have lightning mobility technique. As soon as it matures, I'll be the first to charge up, and Elder Nyen help me on the way. Runin and Martial Brother Wenyen hold still. When Elder Nyen receives the lightning sound age's fruit from me, he will throw it to Runin and Martial Brother Wenyen. After you two get it, immediately dash away. Elder Nyen and I will help you cut the chase. When we're safe again, we'll contact each other. Okay. Nyo Runin and Martial Brother Wenyen immediately nodded. After 5 minutes, the last flicker of lightning disappeared. More than 20 dashing lights went over as quickly as possible. The young mistress was the third to reach the top. She grabbed 2 lightning sound age's fruit. At the same time, she instantly left the lightning sound age's fruit tree. She put the fruits in 2 jade boxes and threw it to Elder Nyen while she took out her magic artifact and stopped the 2 immortal emperor trying to rob it. When Elder Nyen caught it, he gave 1 each to Nyo Runin and Horseface. At the same time, he released his magic artifact to stop others from chasing the jade box. At this moment, everyone charged up onto the tree, and no one cared about Nyo Runin and Horseface who were outside the hill. As soon as they received the jade boxes, they instantly split off. This process happened perfectly without any pause. Many people saw this and started to regret why they didn't think of such way. Soon, the people here reacted and started to fight over the other lightning sound age's fruit. This hill was ravaged by essence chi and killing chi. No one cared about young mistress and Elder Nyen, who didn't have the lightning sound age's fruit anymore. They didn't join the battle and instead quietly left. After the 9 fruits were picked, the tree immediately withered and turned to dust. But not everyone gave up on hunting Nyo Runin and Horseface. There were at least 2 immortal emperors chasing behind Nyo Runin. Although Nyo Runin left first, her cultivation level was too low. It was barely Immortal Emperor middle stage, and she didn't even stabilize her power. Seeing the 2 Immortal Emperors nearing, she was very desperate. She couldn't shake them off no matter what. Nyo Runin knew that if they caught up to her, not only would she lose the fruit, but she would also lose her life. She quickly sent a message to the young mistress, but she wasn't able to get very far before a dashing light stopped her path. Do you think a mere Immortal Emperor middle stage can escape from us brothers? Keep dreaming. It was an Immortal Emperor peak stage who stopped her. His god spirit chi emanated around his body. At this moment, the Immortal Emperor tertiary stage came behind her. There was despair in Nyo Runin's heart. She could only hope Elder Nyen and young mistress could come quicker. Attack! The Immortal Emperor peak stage clearly knew Nyo Runin had back up and didn't want to give her any chances. He released a 5-colored claw. It instantly surrounded Nyo Runin. She could only barely release Lu Mingguang Yenbel to form a protection. Good magic artifact. The Immortal Emperor peak stage said. He knew this was an attack and defensive magic artifact. Greed immediately showed up in his eyes. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2003 Small Test of Strength. Chapter 2003 Small Test of Strength Rumble. The 5-colored claw smashed on the bell. Although the bell was much stronger than the claw, Nyo Runin's cultivation level was too weak. Just in that clash, she was smashed away. She spat a few mouthfuls of blood mid-air. The bell dimmed and instantly fell to the ground. If it wasn't for the bell, Nyo Runin would be seriously injured. But even though the bell blocked the first attack for her, she couldn't escape from the second attack. Plus, the other person hadn't even moved yet. The Immortal Emperor peak stage didn't pursue killing Nyo Runin, but charged towards the bell. Before he could touch the bell, A wave flashed, and that bell was gone. A blue-robed man held the bell and didn't even look at this immortal emperor peak stage. He stared at Neo Runin. "Yemo, how is it you?" Neo Runin recognized this person and called out in shock. However, she wasn't joyful at all. She knew that even if Yemo helped her, they wouldn't be a match for the other two. That immortal emperor peak stage was too terrifying. Seeing Neo Runin know this blue-robed immortal emperor, the other immortal emperor tertiary stage stopped and stood with that immortal emperor peak stage. "What's going on? Did you get something good? Why are there two immortal emperor tertiary stages chasing after you?" Yi-Emo looked at Neo Runin in confusion. He was wondering where the other people of the Hung God Corner was. Before Neo Runin could reply, that immortal emperor peak stage landed before Yi-Emo. If it wasn't that Yi-Emo took the bell silently, he would have attacked already. He was concerned with how Yi-Emo took the bell, and he didn't notice at all. "Dao friend, are you going to intervene in our affairs?" The immortal emperor peak stage stared at the bell and said, "Intervene? When did you see me attack?" Yi-Emo said in contempt. The immortal emperor peak stage pointed at the bell in Yi-Emo's hands. "The magic artifact is now mine. You robbed my magic artifact. If that's not attacking, what is?" Hearing this, Yi-Emo raised the bell and said, "This is clearly my magic artifact. When did it become yours?" "I sold this bell to Neo Runin, and she still hasn't paid me the full sum yet." "Did she sell this to you?" Hearing this, the immortal emperor tertiary stage glanced at Neo Runin and immediately knew that Yi-Emo was telling the truth. "Attack!" The two immortal emperor made eye contact and attack. The other immortal emperor released a 4 Cs god stump and attacked Yi-Emo. At the same time, Yi-Emo gave the bell back to Domain while expanding his lethal force domain. Yi-Emo quite approved of Neo Runin. He felt this dark-skinned was a much better person than that beautiful young mistress. With the bell in her hand, Neo Runin immediately wanted to go help Yi-Emo, but at this moment, she found in shock she couldn't break into Yi-Emo's domain at all. Yi-Emo's domain swept out like crazy. This was the first time Yi-Emo fused the lethal force from the Qingwei Abyssal River into his domain. Before, he was almost bound by that divine emperor. This made him feel his domain was lacking something. This meant that his domain was too amicable. The murderous Qi from the Abyssal River could make up for this. The two immortal emperors immediately felt huge pressure. They felt that their domains stacked together was weaker than Yi-Emo's domain. Under Yi-Emo's pressure, their domain made cracking sounds. The immortal emperor peak stage's face changed. He realized that Yi-Emo was very powerful. The 5-colored claw expanded and activated countless 5-colored lethal beams that loomed over Yi-Emo. Neo Runin could only retreat back again. It was the best time now for her to run, but she never even thought about it. Yi-Emo was ganged up on due to her. Even if she couldn't help, she couldn't just run away. When the 4C god stump activated, boundless waves came. Only now did Yi-Emo release Zisu. If it wasn't that Yi-Emo wanted to see what their god arts were like, they might even not get the chance to use it. Yi-Emo was in a stage where he was fusing all sorts of god arts. The god arts he saw, the more inspiration he would get. Even if his immortal essence hadn't completely converted to god essence, Yi-Emo wasn't scared of the two immortal emperors. Now almost all his immortal essence had converted to the stronger god essence. He really didn't care about their attacks. Zisu was released, God Art Crevice. The 30 kilometers long purple sword ray sliced across the void. The space that was touched by the sword instantly crumpled. It was as though the strike took away all the things in the space. The extremely murderous lethal force fused with the sword ray and hacked past the 5-colored lethal beam. The newly formed 5-color lethal beam was like snow that instantly melted under the hot sun. Neo Runin was watching with her jaws wide open. She had never expected that insignificant purple sword Yi-Emo carried on his back would be this powerful. She didn't know that this was Yi Mo suppressing his power. If it wasn't that the space here was very tough and Yi Mo was holding back, he could easily hack out 300 kilometers long sword ray. When Yi Mo hacked out the crevice god art, the surrounding 30 kilometers of space were bound under this sword ray. He was really despaired. He had never thought someone could use sword art god art to this degree. He had seen god art the gathering space, lethal force, and crumbled space. However, he had never seen someone like Yi Mo gather all the space lethal force into an extremely fine sword ray. The 5-colored lethal beam had completely melted. This immortal emperor peak stage didn't dare to think about anything and forcefully activated the 5-colored claws and blocked in front of him. At the same time, an extremely huge round shield appeared before him. Even if he had to fight with his life, he had to block this move first. The other immortal emperor's sea waves had 0 chi. Those who were suppressed by it wouldn't even be able to breathe. But just when he activated the first wave, a huge fist appeared before the wave. Yi Mo didn't need to use crevice against an immortal emperor tertiary stage. With the void god art smashed out, the first stump immediately tilted. The huge water wave had a hole inside and completely spilled out. The battle formed a huge flood sweeping all the nearby sand away. Thud! Su hacked on the round shield, creating this heaven-shocking sound. The immortal emperor tertiary stage was smashed back and spat mouthful of blood in the air. He looked worse than Nyo Runin. The other immortal emperor's face changed. Before he could react, his team was smashed away by Yi Mo. There was even a deep gash on the forehead. Immediately, he realized that them two combined was no match for Yi Mo. The immortal emperor tertiary stage retreated desperately. The other immortal emperor peak stage landed on the ground. He immediately bowed to Yi Mo. Qian Bei, Wan Bei offended you. Please forgive me. The immortal emperor peak stage put away his magic artifact and quickly retreated with the other immortal emperor. Seeing the two leave, Yi Mo didn't go hunt them. Only now did Nyo Runin come out of her shock. She finally realized why Yi Mo was here. With his power, it would be strange if he didn't win the tournament. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2004, Betrayed. Chapter 2004, Betrayed. Yi Mo interrupted Nyo Runin and asked, "Why did these two gang up on you? Did you get some top treasure?" Hearing this, Nyo Runin hesitated before saying, "It's not mine. It's young mistress's lightning sound age's fruit." She felt Yi Mo was a good person, and he just saved her life. He didn't know her and dared to let her own him god crystals, so she said it. But then she immediately regretted, who knew if Yi Mo would fight for such Dao fruit. What age's fruit? Yi Mo exclaimed in shock. From the jade slip he bought at the marketplace, he knew what the age's fruit was. Even Yi Mo would dream to get such Dao fruit. He didn't expect Nyo Runin was hunted for this. Yi Mo's heart heated up. If he could get the fruit and learn time law, or just a sliver, it would be a huge increase to his power. Seeing Yi Mo's shocked tone, Nyo Runin's heart sunk. She felt she shouldn't have said this, but then she thought, even if she didn't say it, there would be a reason two immortal emperor tertiary stage were hunting her. Yi Mo could guess she got something good. Thinking about this, Nyo Runin quickly said, "This time, Dao, fruit isn't mine. It's young mistress's." After she grabbed the fruit, she gave it to me and helped stall the people hunting me. "Wait," Yi Mo interrupted her. "You're saying she gave you the fruit and stayed to stop the others from robbing the fruit?" Nyo Runin didn't really want to show the fruit to Yi Mo and answered, "Yes, but this Dao fruit isn't mine. If it's mine, I'm willing to give it to you to thank you for saving my life." Yi Mo smiled, Time Dao fruit is very precious. I want it indeed, but I wouldn't rob yours. Don't worry. I just feel this thing is about strange. It's not that I'm looking down on her, but she's indeed not so much a good person. Hearing this, Nyo Runin's face became uneasy. If it wasn't that she owed Yemo and he saved her, she would get angry. Seeing her face, Yemo said, "Since she gave the Dao fruit to you, she would catch up on time. However, you were gained upon by 2 immortal emperor tertiary stages. Other than me, no one came. Even now I don't see your young mistress. Dao friend Runin, don't tell me you didn't send a message yet or that young mistress doesn't know how to find you. I won't believe this." Nyo Runin's face changed. Things were really as Yemo said. She sent messages, but the young mistress still hasn't come to help her. If it wasn't for Yemo, she would have been long dead. She's helping me cut the chase. She's stopping all those who want to chase for the fruit, or she would be here already. Nyo Runin said with low confidence. Yemo sneered. Everyone saw her throw the Dao fruit to you, right? Since they saw it, would they stop her? Those 2 hunted you were a good example. Do you think she would waste time there having meaningless battle? If I was her, I would come back you up immediately, but in reality, she didn't come right. Nyo Runin's face was bad, and she didn't talk. Yemo added, "Let's imagine this. If the young mistress gave you the time Dao fruit, she would chase up to you immediately. Other people knows the Dao fruit isn't on her, so they wouldn't waste time with her. She didn't come over, so this means she probably didn't give you the time Dao fruit. If she really didn't give it to you, then she wouldn't be coming to find you, but get as far away from you as possible." Nyo Runin's face was getting pale. Since young mistress didn't come to back her up immediately, it meant that she probably has a fake Dao fruit. Since she was given the fake box, there was only one reason. She was used as the decoy scapegoat. Nyo Runin's face was more and more pale. She didn't dare to keep thinking. She had been with the young mistress for all these years. She had been very loyal. If she was just completely used, she wouldn't be able to accept this fact. Before Yemo said anything, she took out the jade box and opened it. There was a god crystals laying inside. No lightning sound ages fruit. Although he knew what he said was probably, Yemo was still disappointed when he saw the box was fake. He really wanted to see the ages fruit. Nyo Runin's face was pale. Her face was extremely dejected. If the young mistress was in trouble and her life was needed, she wouldn't hesitate at all. But being used as a bait and sacrifice like this, she was just sad and disappointed. Just when Yemo was thinking about how to leave Nyo Runin, Nyo Runin suddenly said, "Since I was very young, my mother left me. The hang god corner took me in and raised me up. I've been with the young mistress since then, and she never mistreated me. She even gave me a spot into the mountain. If it wasn't for her, I would have long been dead. Yemo, thanks for saving me. If it wasn't for you, I would be dead today. My life is pretty much returned to the young mistress. I don't know the hung god corner anymore. I owe you a life." Yemo quickly interrupted her. "Don't take these small things to heart. I'm going goodbye." "Wait." Nyo Runin stopped Yemo. Nyo Runin took out a jade slip and gave it to Yemo. "These are the places with the best Dao fruits and materials in the mountain. You might not know since you have never been here. You can have this." Seeing Yemo take the jade slip, Nyo Runin said goodbye and left. Yemo scanned the jade slip. The information was a bit obscure, but had an approximate location. Shanyan Cliff. There's often source abstruse silk appearing there. It's a material that could be used to time law magic artifact. It's also said that there's a 7-star extreme well there. This is a well that can refine the body. It can also fuse body refinement god art. Chengzheng Lake. There's frequent discovery of Qing Tao Qilon there. It's a top herb that can be used to concoct Dao molding pills. The jade slip even marked out some routes where time whirlpools appeared. Yemo put the jade slip and was very grateful to Nyo Runin. She helped him quite a bit. The mountain was boundless and spirit sense was limited. God art was also suppressed. If Nyo Runin didn't tell him, even if he searched for a year, he might not find these places. If he accidentally went into time whirlpools, he might die. These god necropolis domain powers indeed had their own ways. The first place Yi Mo chose to go was Mu Hua, Floating Valley. The 7-star extreme well was very important to him. He was now immortal god body peak. Yi Mo felt annoyed he couldn't break through to divine body. To him, break through to divine body was important, but more importantly it was learning god arts. He had quite some god arts, but didn't have a great god art nor a body refinement god art. His body refinement is purely defense. If he could learn a body refinement god art, his power would increase many times. As Yi Mo walked, his spirit sense carefully scanned out. He had to be careful of time whirlpools. 6 bluish-green herbs appeared in Yi Mo's spirit sense. Yi Mo immediately recognized this was red cloud god herb. It was a spirit eye type god herb. It couldn't be found in the immortal realm. If there was an immortal cultivating spirit eye god art, this herb would be invaluable. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2005 Instant Kill Immortal Emperor. Chapter 2005 Instant Kill Immortal Emperor. Before Yi Mo could get close to them, 2 dashing lights charged over. Yi Mo knew this place was the God Mountain and was very careful, but these 2 dashed like lightning without any concern. Moments later, these 2 were only 10 meters from the herbs. Yi Mo sneered he found these herbs first. There was no way he was going to give it up easily. Just when Yi Mo was about to charge up, he saw the 2 people suddenly disappear. This was the first time Yi Mo had seen such an eerie situation. They definitely didn't have a golden page world like him and suddenly went in. Yi Mo subconsciously stopped. An extremely terrifying time flow seemed to have brushed past him. Yi Mo subconsciously retreated 10 more meters before that feeling was gone. At the same time, he saw the 2 figures again. They were just 3 meters from the place they disappeared. But now they had become white bones. They went for a few more steps and fell to the ground. When Yi Mo looked carefully, he noticed there were many bones around those red cloud god herbs. Yi Mo took in a cold breath. This was too scary. 3-meter distance, a few seconds, and 2 immortal emperor tertiary stages became bones. Even divine emperors wouldn't be able to do this. Yi Mo soon realized that there must be an invisible time whirlpool around the red cloud god herb. No matter how much he wanted the herbs, Yi Mo didn't dare to joke with his life. He called out Shadowless and Small Ginseng and told them the situation here. Shadowless and Small Ginseng shook their heads, clearly didn't know how to go past the time whirlpool. Yi Mo's spirit sense carefully went forward. His spirit sense went past without any problem. Yi Mo didn't give up. He used a few spirit sense blades in the time whirlpool. As soon as he did, an extremely powerful time flow blew away his spirit sense. The feeling of losing life came up. Yi Mo quickly took back his spirit sense, but found that the spirit sense the time whirlpool swept in was gone. Such a powerful time whirlpool. Yi Mo murmured. It would be fortunate if he wasn't heavily injured in front of this time whirlpool, much less learn time law. The people in the mountain were very careful. If it wasn't for the red cloud god herbs, they wouldn't rush like that. The time whirlpool was strange. It would only be activated with spirit sense waves. It seemed his cultivation level was too low. He couldn't learn the time law here. He had to collect things to increase his cultivation level. After making this decision, Yi Mo planned to ask Small Ginseng to help him find treasures. Yi Mo knew that since Nyo Runin had that jade slip Other powers would have them too. Perhaps those places were plowed open already. Yi-Mo gave up the red cloud god herbs. Small ginseng had an innate talent to sense laws. He would be able to sense some subtle time whirlpools. Yi-Mo followed small ginseng and soon found tens of good god herbs and a golden-colored golden bell Buddha fruit. Its value wasn't much lower than Age's fruit, but it had no value to Yi-Mo. It could allow one to learn Buddhist god art. To Yi-Mo, if he could see Du Feng monk, he would give him this Dao fruit. Muhua Hanging Valley should be ahead. We'll go check if there's 7-star extreme well. Small ginseng followed Shadowless closely. Don't go too far. Yi-Mo saw small ginseng was some distance from him and called out. Small ginseng agreed and ran off with Shadowless. Yi-Mo was helpless. Although the Golden Page world was now a complete 5-element world, small ginseng and Shadowless were too lonely inside. They had no playmates. In here, there were immortal spirit beasts and god beasts. Yi-Mo had decided to get some more immortal spirit beasts into the Golden Page world after he went out to prevent his Golden Page world from being too boring. A sharp scream sounded that interrupted Yi-Mo's thoughts. He immediately dashed out. The sound was made by Shadowless. In just 10 seconds, Yi-Mo landed next to Shadowless and Small Ginseng. There were 4 people who had surrounded Small Ginseng and Shadowless. There were 2 Immortal Emperor tertiary stages, 1 Immortal Emperor peak stage, and 1 half-divine. The Immortal Emperor peak stage had blue hair, but his god essence was weaker than the 2 Immortal Emperor tertiary stages. Rumble. Yi-Mo smashed away the Immortal Emperor tertiary stage's black stick attack on Shadowless while releasing Zi-Su that hung in the air. Who are you? How dare you stop me grabbing Immortal Pet? The Immortal Emperor tertiary stage said, Stop you grab Immortal Pet? Small Ginseng and Shadowless are my friends. What right do you have to grab them? Yi-Mo's face sunk. Your thing? There are all too many things in the mountain. What right do you have to say that this Ice Ginseng King is yours? A woman behind the Immortal Emperor tertiary stage said, Why waste time with him? A mere Immortal Emperor middle stage. Just kill him. The Immortal Emperor peak stage said impatiently. The 2 Immortal Emperor tertiary stage agreed immediately. Okay. Before they finished, 2 magic artifacts were released. 1 black, 1 white that swept at Yi-Mo. Yi-Mo released, and his murderous Immortal Emperor domain stacked with a spirit sense domain. Yi-Mo wasn't going to show any mercy to those who wanted to kill him. While they still underestimated him, he would kill 2 first. Zi-Su sliced across the air, and the man and woman immediately felt a powerful space binding. Their Immortal Emperor domains crumbled like eggs. Rumble. The white and black mag struck, with Zi-Su splashing rays in the void. A subtle space ripple spread out. The half-divine's face changed. His heaven's shocking lamp had been released. He chose a very good time, but even so, he was still a bit slow. Zi-Su brought out 2 bloody mists. These 2 Immortal Emperor tertiary stages were killed in 1 move. They didn't even completely release their god arts. It's not that they couldn't use it, but that they didn't take Yi-Mo seriously at all. However, as soon as they clashed, they realized they were severely wrong, and this cost them their lives. 2 essence spirits seeped out and was gulped by Shadowless, who was waiting on the side. The Immortal Emperor peak stage was just a bit slower than that half-divine. His face changed immediately and released his Wither Zen, dual swords. Yi-Mo wasn't worried about that. He was worried about the heaven's shocking lamp. Upon release, it formed heaven covering light that locked onto him. The endless light were like stars falling that smashed towards Yi-Mo. Yi-Mo felt his essence spirit was about to cripple. He couldn't even gather his god essence. Although the half-divine didn't stop him from killing the 2 Immortal Emperors, he chose the perfect opportunity to attack, putting him at the lower hand. Those lights spun more rapidly until it grew brighter and brighter. This reminded Yi-Mo of his heaven flame, 9 suns. Heaven flame 9 suns grew more and more brighter later on. Under the binding of the light, Yemo could clearly feel the terror of these lights, and he could feel that the more the light spun, the stronger his domain was. If this continued, Yemo wouldn't even be able to take back Zisu. Shadowless saw this and flapped his wings towards that half-divine and bit down. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2006, Mu Hua, Floating Valley. Chapter 2006, Mu Hua, Floating Valley. This gathering light domain was bitten a hole by Shadowless. Yemo felt easy, and before the lamp could fill the hole up, he punched out. Fist God, Art Shatter Sky. At the same time, Shadowless was smashed back by the backlash of the domain and smashed into a huge mountain rock. Yemo was planning to burn his god essence to break free from the domain, but Shadowless helped him, so he didn't hesitate at all. 9 void lethal forces rose, and this space was instantly swept inside. The endless light was suppressed by the fist wind before it could be repaired. The 9 fist forces clashed with the endless light. The endless light seemed to have been smashed by asteroid and scattered to a few hundred kms nearby. The half-divine saw that his heaven-shocking lamp domain was broken by Yemo and was extremely shocked. He still had other means, but only he knew that the time you picked to ambush Yemo was perfect, and yet under such situation, he still wasn't able to make Yemo seriously injured. Yemo's power was definitely no weaker than his. His heaven-shocking lamp lit up again. An eerie light came up that charged at Yemo's fist wind. At this moment, the blue-haired immortal Emperor Tertiary Stage finally released his magic artifact. The 2 swords sealed Yemo's surroundings like 2 sword dragons. Yemo raised his hand, and a huge drum appeared before him. Dong, dong, dong. Yemo struck the drum 9 times, but it sounded like tens of thousands of horses racing. The sky became dark with lethal force. The 2 immortal emperors attacking Yemo felt endless immortal soldiers raising their spears and attacking. This wasn't the battle between 3, but between millions. Yemo didn't take back the fist wind and raised out a few more lightning bolts. Before, Yemo was almost backlashed by the drum sound with just 1 strike, but now he struck it 9 times and was completely fine. The dual swords was suppressed by the drum sounds and could only circulate around Yemo's domain. The eerie green light of the half-divine was also suppressed and immediately slowed down. However, Yemo's 5 lightning lights were becoming clearer. Those drum sounds struck the half-divine's chests, making his god essence cripple. But this wasn't the end. At the same time, 5 extremely clear lightning spears appeared. The half-divine's face changed. Although his domain was bit open by Shadowless, it was still under a slight upper hand. But when the drum sounded, he was at the lower hand. Now that the 5 lightning spears was about to smash down and he was completely bound to it, how could he keep attacking Yemo at the same time? The green light changed directions and swept at the 5 lightning spear destruction. Rumble. The lightning spears smashed with the green light, creating this huge shocking sound that exploded all the nearby space, destroying the nearby forest and small hill. More than half of the lightning spears was gone, but it kept falling. It just wasn't as powerful as before. The heaven-shocking lamp suddenly expanded, becoming a red sun. Crack! A few more sounds appeared, and the remaining lightning spear completely smashed on the heaven-shocking lamp. The lamp immediately dimmed down and even made a cracking sound. The half-divine blocked Yemo's shatter space god art and the drum sound, as well as the 5 lightning spear destruction. However, his face became pale. After blocking the 5 lightning spear destruction, he immediately put away his lamp and dashed away. A half-divine and an immortal Emperor Peak Stage was attacking Yemo together, but he fell first. Seeing this half-divine run, Yemo had no power to chase him. Seeing this, the blue-haired immortal Emperor Peak Stage's face looked back. He wanted to take back his magic artifact and run, but Yi-Mo was facing him alone now. How could he run easily? Yi-Mo's immortal Emperor domain and spirit sense domain completely expanded, binding this immortal Emperor Peak Stage before punching again. This shatter sky gathered a few void lethal force and completely sealed off his exit. The blue-haired immortal Emperor was already no match for Yi-Mo. Now that he just wanted to run, he had less chances of stopping Yi-Mo's god art. He wasn't that half-divine. Although he was immortal Emperor Peak Stage, he was weaker than ordinary immortal Emperor Tertiary Stage. Facing such a powerful lethal blow, he could only beg, "Don't attack. I'm Zichen God Corner's Hellion Yul. I'm from the Hellion family." For those who wanted to kill him, Yi-Mo wasn't going to let them go even if they were the God Lord. Shatter Sky's fist force swept the blue-haired immortal Emperor to pulp. 3 storage rings fell into Yi-Mo's golden page world. Then he walked up to Shadowless and asked what was going on. Shadowless was thick-skinned, and although he was smashed away by the half-divine's domain, he was fine. Small Ginseng quickly said, "I felt a top treasure here, and just when I was charging forward, I was stopped by those 4. Shadowless quickly said that blue-haired saw through that Small Ginseng was Ice Ginseng King and wanted to capture Small Ginseng. Of course, we didn't agree, but before I was attacked by that woman." He offended another power. Yi-Mo just didn't bother to think about it and said to Small Ginseng, "Small Ginseng, lead the way. Let's see where that treasure is." He offended too many people. When the mountain was about to open, he would just stay in here. He found what he wanted anyways. If he wasn't afraid that people would find the tunnel to the immortal realm, he would rather go back to the immortal realm. Yi-Mo really didn't like this god Necropolis domain. Hearing that Yi-Mo was going to find what he sensed, Small Ginseng immediately came and dashed out in a white light. Yi-Mo didn't dare to follow from afar and stuck close by Small Ginseng. In less than 2 hours, Small Ginseng came to a huge valley. What made Yi-Mo feel amazed was that there were steep cliffs on the 2 sides of the valley. The lower half of the cliff was covered by mist, and only the top half showed. From a distance, it was like floating in the air. The valley was wide and deep. Spirit sense couldn't even scan to its edges. Even if Yi-Mo didn't ask, he knew this was Mu-Hua, Floating Valley. Small Ginseng didn't stop and charged in immediately. 5 minutes later, Small Ginseng had to stop. 2 immortal emperors were having a huge battle here that almost turned the valley around. Yi-Mo could tell that both of them were immortal Emperor Tertiary Stage. The long-haired man was stronger, meanwhile the gray-robed man looked older. "Boss, there's just some way to there, but these 2 are blocking our way." Small Ginseng said angrily, "If there was no special situation, Yi-Mo wouldn't want to fly in here." These 2 were having such an intense battle that it sealed the path shut. Yi-Mo could only go up and say, "You 2 please wait a bit, let us pass. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible." Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2007, 7-Star Extreme Well. Chapter 2007. 7-Star Extreme. Well, the 2 immortal Emperor Tertiary Stages saw that a mere immortal Emperor Middle Stage asked them to stop fighting and give way. They didn't understand where Yi-Mo got the audacity from, but the older immortal Emperor moved to the side, clearly agreeing. The long-haired immortal Emperor saw Shadowless and Small Ginseng running behind Yi-Mo. As though feeling that someone who could own these 2 weren't ordinary, he hesitated and moved aside too. Yi-Mo waved his hand and was going to pass between the 2. At this moment, the gray-robed immortal Emperor suddenly attacked. He released an extremely powerful ray that bound the entire space. Even Yi-Mo felt the terror of this dark ray and suspected he might not be able to dodge it if he didn't convert his immortal essence. At this moment, small Ginseng and Shadowless were in this bound space and was about to be pierced. Shadowless was more experienced in battle and instantly stopped small Ginseng and bit. Crack! There was an almost indistinguishable sound, and that bound spay was bit open a bit. Shadowless took small Ginseng to retreat a few steps and escaped from the border. Yi Mo was furious. He didn't expect this careful-looking gray old man was this shameless and used him to ambush. If it was some ordinary person, he would have been dead already. The next moment, his domain pressed over and used shatter space. 9 terrifying void fist forces swept at the old man. Yi Mo didn't even hit the murderous chi. It fused with the void lethal force that would even make spirit sense shiver. The old man wanted to use his dark ray rune, but the long-haired immortal emperor stopped him and prevented him from using it. Now that Yi Mo was going past here, he immediately caught onto the opportunity. The instant the rune was activated, the gray-robed immortal emperor breathed easy. He knew he was fine now. No matter how strong the long-haired immortal emperor was, he would be heavily injured or killed by the rune. As for the mere immortal emperor middle stage, the gray-robed old man felt Yi Mo was suicidal to intervene in the immortal emperor tertiary stage battle. But the instant he activated the rune, he felt things weren't right. That dragon horse, like beast, bit open the dark ray domain. That immortal emperor middle stage, who was bound by the dark ray domain, could move freely and even punched over. His face changed greatly. That extremely powerful lethal force already locked onto him tightly. He could clear sense it, but he couldn't dodge it. The murderous killing intent hurt his body before it even reached him. His body was about to split apart. Such a terrifying fist force, such murderous killing intent. The gray-robed man instantly realized he caused a big trouble. This guy was no immortal emperor middle stage. This power was Tao Vindication Divine Emperor. The nearby space was completely bound, and even the old man's spirit sense was locked on. He couldn't even make a word, even if he wanted to beg for mercy. He could only watch as the void, lethal force came. His eyes were full of regret and terror. He didn't expect he messed with someone this tough. So casually. Thud! The void fist force smashed together, and the old man's body exploded. He couldn't even move his finger and could only watch. This only happened in a second. The long-haired immortal emperor noticed the ambush, but that dark ray domain was too strong, and he couldn't break free. Luckily, Shadowless bit open the domain, and Yi Mo's shatter sky tore this domain open. The long-haired immortal emperor immediately used the opportunity to move aside, but even so, the dark ray still took away all the clothes on him as well as some flesh. One could imagine that if he was a bit later, that dark ray would heavily injure him. Before he could breathe easy, he saw Yi Mo punch the old man to dust. That extremely fierce and terrifying lethal force made the long-haired man shiver, even though he wasn't at the full front of it. Such powerful fist force. The long-haired man rejoiced that he didn't forcefully block the way, or he would be the one dead. No wonder this immortal emperor middle stage dared to roam around with an ice ginseng king. With such power, who would dare to attack him? He even suspected that Yi Mo was fishing for an excuse to kill people. Just when the man wanted to walk to Yi Mo and thank him, a huge explosion stopped him. The long-haired man didn't mind. He knew that it was the dark ray hitting a cliff. Boss, it's this place. It's been smashed open. Small Ginseng quickly came over and pointed at the cliff. Yi Mo already saw it. An extremely dense god spirit chi-chi with slivers of Tao, waves diffused. There was also an extremely good aroma that purified cultivation and the body. 7-star extreme well. The long-haired man called out in shock. A huge stone pond appeared, and inside was extremely clear liquid. The god spirit chi that seeped out squeezed away the clouds, making it seem like an immortal pond floating in the air. It's indeed 7-star extreme well, not bad. Small ginseng did huge work this time, Yi Mo said happily. The next moment, Yi Mo took a storage ring and landed on the side of the well. He took out a jade kettle that wasn't very big. Yi Mo was an immortal artifact Grand Master. Although it was hard to buy dimensional jade kettles for others, but Yi Mo made a pile in the Golden Page world to collect treasures like this. The long-haired man's face changed a few times, but he eventually didn't dare to do anything. The 7-star extreme well was precious, but he didn't have the balls to fight over it with Yi Mo. However, he also flew over and saluted with his fists to Yi Mo. This Tao friend, thank you for saving my life. I want to see if there would be 7-star extreme wells on the side. Would that affect Tao friend? Yi Mo looked and nodded. Do as you please. The long-haired man rejoiced and immediately started to dig, places not far from Yi Mo's 7-star extreme well. He had researched many information before and knew that around the 7-star extreme well there would be side wells. This is still 7-star extreme well, but just has less quantity. When the original 7-star extreme well was full, the liquid would flow to another place, so that place was side well. The liquid in the well was brought out by Yi Mo and flowed into the jade kettle like a water fountain. One couldn't even stop the extremely pure well qi from spreading. Yi Mo knew that this would definitely attract people to come. He had to collect this quickly. Crack! Yi Mo knew that the other man succeeded because after this crack, there was more well qi seeping out. Found it. The long-haired man rejoiced. Yi Mo looked over. 10 meters from him, there was a sink-sized well. Yi Mo didn't plan to fight over it. He already had this much, so he didn't need more. Plus, the man found it himself. The man wasn't slower than Yi Mo and instantly took out a jade bottle and quickly filled up the well. At this moment, a few more dashing lights came in, and Yi Mo just finished collecting the well water. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2008, Talk with Power. Chapter 2008, Talk with Power, 7-star extreme well. A few shocked voices and 4 figures landed. Then 2 more dashing lights came and called out the same words. Yi Mo landed and waved to Shadowless and Small Ginseng, let's go. The long-haired man saw this and quickly followed Yi Mo wait. At least 3 of the 6 came out and stopped Yi Mo. Yi Mo frowned. He knew that he took all the well water, so it was probably hard for him to leave peacefully. Ice Ginseng King. Another person saw Small Ginseng and exclaimed. Yi Mo was only Immortal Emperor Peak Stage, and yet got this many 7-star extreme well water and the Ice Ginseng King. Even the dragon horse probably wasn't simple. People's eyes immediately went red. Yi Mo waved his hand and took Shadowless and Small Ginseng. At the same time, Su floated in the air. Since this was unavoidable, he might as well fight. The strongest here is only Immortal Emperor Peak Stage, and there was only one. One person here was even Immortal Monarch Peak Stage. Yi Mo didn't need to worry about this at all, nor need Shadowless help. Seeing Yi Mo put away Small Ginseng and Shadowless, a few people sneered. It was pointless to put away things that were already seen. At this moment, 3 more dashing lights came. Yi Mo was speechless, as Yi Mo knew 2 of them. It was the 2 that stopped Neo Rinin and was taught a lesson by Yi Mo. The 3 immediately saw the empty 7-star extreme well, but then the other 2 Immortal Emperors recognized Yi Mo. Their faces changed, but they didn't leave. They stood afar and watched. Seeing one of the 2 was Immortal Emperor Peak Stage. The first 6 who came saluted with their fists to the 3. The Immortal Emperor Peak Stage in the group of 6 was white-skinned, but his eyes looked evil. He greeted the 3 and walked up to the long-haired man. Tao friend, you've got quite some luck. The well is that big here, You probably got quite a lot, right? The long-haired man saluted with his fists. I got some well water, but I got the side one. As for the main well, it's because I came a bit late. The immortal emperor peaked, stage-dazed. To him, it was Yemo and the long-haired immortal emperor who split the 7-star extreme well. Yemo was weaker, so he must have gotten less, but the results were different. Then he reacted and smiled to the long-haired man. Dao friend, you're a nice person. I admire you. The side well was only the size of a water sink, not even 1/10 of the main well. Yet the man still didn't rob Yemo's well. The long-haired man smiled, but said nothing. Was he a good person? He felt Yemo was a good person. If it was someone else, he wouldn't even get the sides. This evil-eyed immortal emperor peak stage looked at Yemo and casually saluted with his fists. Dao friend, you're quite lucky to get an entire well of 7-star extreme well. I'm Hung Hong God Corner, Ekong. There's plenty of treasures in the mountain, but the 7-star extreme well is extremely rare. Since everyone saw it, can you share some? Yemo smiled. Of course, there's that many 7-star extreme wells. I can't use it all. Ekong laughed. Dao friend nice, how about this? Take out the 7-star extreme well, and I'll split it up. Seeing that Yemo was willing to share the 7-star extreme well, he immediately knew Yemo was scared. He was facing 9 immortal emperors, and Yemo was only an immortal emperor middle stage. How could Yemo not be scared? The 2 immortal emperors who had seen Yemo before knew he definitely wasn't so easy to talk to. They saw others go up, but they stayed afar. Why should I let you split my things? Yemo said plainly, but killing chi was gathering around Zissou. He was about to attack. Feeling Yemo's faint killing chi, Ekong frowned and said coldly, didn't you say you can't use this many 7-star extreme well water and wanted to share it? Are you regretting? Yemo smiled. Of course I won't regret, but if you want my well water, you need to trade it. You guys didn't take anything out and want me to share the well water with you. Do you want to rob me? Ekong heard this and was furious, so you're playing with me. Then his force rose as killing intent circulated around him. Before he could attack, the brown-robed immortal emperor tertiary stage next to him went up first and released a rusty ghost chain and attacked Yemo Martial Brother Kong. You don't need to deal with this cocky bastard. I, Guan Ruisi, am enough. As soon as the ghost chains came out, the valley became ghastly. It was as though countless ghosts came alive. Howling ghost voices sounded with the black smoke that was about to tear Yemo apart. The long-haired man standing not far felt his mind unstable and immediately retreated while releasing his defensive magic artifact. The ghost chains are not bad, Yemo said and sliced with Zissou. He really felt the ghost chains were good, but this immortal emperor, tertiary stage, couldn't fully activate it. Yemo expanded his domain out, and the gray-robed immortal emperor's domain cracked like an egg. The immortal emperor immediately knew he wrongly estimated Yemo's cultivation level, but Zissou already smashed down on the ghost chains with the space-lethal force. Rumble. Essence chi blasted, and the nearby immortal emperors released their magic artifacts while retreating quickly. Ekang's face changed. He instantly realized that Guan Ruisi was no match for Yemo. He instantly released his magic artifact, but the long purple sword ray had already hacked on the ghost chains. Sizzling sounds came, and the endless ghost figures were melted into nothing but the purple rays. Guan Ruisi felt his ghost chains shiver. The long purple sword ray suddenly cracked and then turned into heaven, covering purple shards that enveloped him. At this moment, Guan Ruisi was completely in despair. Chapter 2009 Dao Essence Divine Estate. Chapter 2009 Dao Essence Divine Estate. Out of the first 6 people who came, 1 was instantly killed and the Immortal Emperor Peak Stage was smashed away. The remaining 4 had 1 Immortal Monarch and 2 Immortal Emperor primary stages. Their faces were extremely pale and subconsciously looked at the 3 who came later. They finally realized why there was two who didn't come up. They already knew how strong Yi-mo was. Saying Yi-mo, take the storage ring and ghost chain and walk towards him. Ikong quickly put away his wheel and saluted with his fists. I was too impulsive. I'm willing to compensate for Dao Friend's losses. Seeing Yi-mo completely ignore him, Ikong said again, there's a Dao Essence divine estate in the mountain. I've just got news and sensed the Welchi here. That's why I came over. Yi-mo stopped. Dao Essence was the pinnacle of the god Necropolis domain. He must go check out that Dao Essence estate. Up until now, his three-birth chant didn't have Dao Vindication cultivation method, mainly because he had never come in contact with a Dao Vindication Divine Emperor. Even though he was hunted by one, he didn't fight one. Tell me where it is, and I'll let you live. Yi-mo said plainly. Ikong quickly said the Dao Essence Divine Estate is at Changzheng Lake. People were searching for Qing Tao Qilon there and accidentally activated the ancient Dao Essence Divine Estate. It's said that this place might be left behind by a powerful being before the god Necropolis domain was broken. There would be top-level divine Dao cultivation method and god art. Okay, if you don't want my well water, then piss off. Yi-mo said. Ikang's face showed a sliver of anger, but he quickly hid it and said, Dao Friend, that 3-treasure ghost chain is one of the top magic artifact of our Hung Hong God Corner. Please, you want it? Yi-mo looked asked. Ikong bit his teeth and said, yes, that's something very important to us. We're willing to pay some price for it. Yi-mo said, you can have it back if you use a Dao fruit to trade it. Any Dao fruit will do, otherwise no deal. If you can give me Lightning Sound Ages fruit, I can not only give the chains back, but also give you a bottle of 7-star extreme well water. Yi-mo said loudly, but no one at the scene reacted. He knew that these people definitely didn't get the fruit. Seeing Yi-mo about to leave, Ikong was really desperate. He quickly sound transmission to Yi-mo. Dao Friend, I really don't have Dao fruit, but I know who does, and I know he has 2 Lightning Sound Ages fruit. Yi-mo said coldly, what does that have to do with you? Do you think I'm going to give you the ghost chains if you told me who has the Lightning Sound Ages fruit? Seeing Yi-mo speak out his sound transmission, Ikong didn't dare to blame Yi-mo and said, I know that person will be going to the ancient Dao Essence Divine Estate, and I know he really wants the well water. If Dao Friend is willing to trade with the well water, I believe he's willing to give out a Lightning Sound Ages fruit. Lead the way. When I see the person, I will give it to you, otherwise you can wait to die. Yi-mo sneered. Ikong was furious, but he could only suppress his anger and lead the way at the front. Qianbei, the 2 immortal emperors who were beaten away by Yi-mo before could only greet Yi-mo. Yi-mo knew that they were only like this due to his power, and if he was weaker, they would come attack him without hesitation. However, there were all sorts of people like this everywhere. He didn't need to care that much. He just needed to increase his power. Seeing Yi-mo head towards the Changzheng Lake, the rest of the people followed, but the long-haired immortal emperor changed direction and left. The reason Changzheng Lake was famous was because Qing Tao Qilon would often be found here. It was a material used for concocting top-level Dao molding pills. Those who came to the mountain would all go there for a spin. Who would give up Dao Vindication? If one vindicated Dao, the first step would be Dao molding. The best material for learning Dao molding was Qing Tao Qilon. However, this herb was very rare in the god Necropolis domain, even in the Changzheng Lake. Changzheng Lake was half a day's distance from the floating valley because they couldn't fly. If they could fly, they would be able to get there in half an hour. When Yi-mo came to the outskirts of the lake, he found there were already 50 people here. These people surrounded a huge lake. The lake looked boundless and had a layer of mist. The white mist seemed to have materialized. Yi-mo's spirit sense blade scanned out and forced open the white mist. He found that the water underneath was red like blood. There was also some cold, killing chi inside. When Yemo and them came over, they just casually glanced and didn't care. Most of them were staring inside the lake. Yemo frowned when he saw the lake water was this strange. Dao friend, it's that person wearing the yellow cloud robes who has 2 Dao fruits. He's a body refinement cultivator, and he definitely needs the 7-star extreme well. E Kong, quickly sound transmission to Yemo. Yemo already saw that body refinement immortal. His muscles bulged up and essence chi formed faint ripples around him. His cultivation level was half divine. It was no wonder he dared to appear after getting 2 lightning sound ages fruits. Who is this person? Give me a set off Qingzheng lake information. Yi Mo said casually. Ikong said Chengzheng Lake has been a place producing lots of Qingtao Qilan since the ancient times. The lake water is red. It's fabled that an ancient gray dragon molded his Tao here, but he encountered an unprecedented divine damnation. This divine damnation took the divine damnation, but his essence spirit cracked due to this and died here. Eventually, his essence blood and essence qi formed the lake, and the Qingtao Qilan next to the lake has a sliver of dragonwell. It's more valuable than Qingtao Qilan from other places. The lake surface is so flat, even if there were Qingtao Qilan, wouldn't it be harvested away? Yi Mo asked. Ikong answered, people can't see the lake every time the mountain opens, as the mountain opens from a different position. So in time, people can find Qingtao Qilan around the lake. Yi Mo nodded and looked at the half-divine. Tell me about this person. He's very mysterious. It said he's not from the 16 god corners and 5 castles. After he came here, he went around challenging everyone, and no one was a match for him. He killed a few top prodigies. Later, there was Dao Vindication Divine Emperor attacking him, but he has an extremely powerful space mobility technique. Even divine emperors find it very difficult to keep him. If any divine emperor attacked him, he would come back to revenge the divine emperor's sect after a while. As time went on, no one dares to mess with him. Ikong subconsciously looked at the half-divine. The half-divine seemed to have felt someone look at him. He looked up and glanced over coldly. Ikong subconsciously shivered and sound transmissioned. He knows we're discussing about him. Yi Mo threw out the ghost chains and said, you have no business here. Ikong took the ghost chains and quickly left. He didn't want to be connected with Yi Mo at all. However, before Yi Mo went over, that half-divine came over. He studied Yi Mo from head to toe before saying in a coarse voice, you were prying news about me. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2010 Divine Estate Scheme. Chapter 2010 Divine Estate Scheme. Yi Mo just wanted to answer the yellow cloud, robed, half-divine, when the center of the lake shadowless exploded with a 1 km tall water pillar. However, it seemed quite eerie as the pillar was red. Okay, another formation flag opened. Someone clapped. Soon, a few figures jumped up from the bottom of the lake and landed by the river. Before anyone said anything, a few more people went into the lake. The water pillar gradually fell back. At this moment, a Dao Vindication Divine Emperor drew 8 over to the side, clearly wanting them to get prepared. Yi Mo finally realized what was going on. It seemed that Dao Essence Divine Estate was at the bottom of the lake, and people went down in turns to break the formation. When one formation flag was opened, the 8 people who were just appointed would go down to attack the next formation flag. The Divine Emperor is probably the commander of this operation. Yi Mo was shocked. There was such massive attacks at the bottom of the lake, but nothing could be seen from the lake surface. Only when the formation flag was broken would there be a water pillar. I'm asking you something. The half-divine saw Yemo stare at the lake and think, so his tone grew cold. Yemo turned around and saluted with his fists. I heard Tao friend is a body refinement cultivator. I just came from Muhua, Hanging Valley. You're not going to say you found the 7-star extreme. Well, right. Beams shot out of the half-divine's eyes as though he was almost about to eat Yemo said calmly, That's right, I found it, and I got a big pond. The half-divine rejoiced. He had been to the Hanging Valley many times, but didn't find any marks of the well. Yet, someone said, he found a large pond of it. How could he contain his joy? The well was invaluable to him. He would rob it, even if he had to. Just when he was going to speak, he saw Yemo's face change, and he jumped into the lake without hesitation. The half-divine dazed, but he soon reacted. He followed Yemo into the river without hesitation. The rest of the immortals didn't expect someone would jump in the lake at this time. Those who didn't understand thought the formation was opened and jumped into. More and more people jumped in. The divine emperor holding the formation saw that he was the only one here and gritted his teeth. A mere immortal emperor middle stage dares to mess up my plan. He brought over a Tao actualization divine emperor. Just when Yemo jumped in the lake, a Tao actualization divine emperor came over a few seconds later. The Tao actualization divine emperor also jumped in the lake. This divine emperor immediately guessed that the Tao actualization divine emperor was hunting Yemo. Then he jumped in the lake too. Of course the Tao essence divine estate's formation wasn't broken, but Yemo had to jump in. His spirit sense sensed the divine emperor who was hunting him head towards the lake, and his spirit sense locked onto him when it scanned the lake. In just a few seconds, the divine emperor would be here. He didn't think he could get away this time. The Tao actualization divine emperor's spirit sense was locked onto him. Yemo jumped into the lake. He couldn't think of anywhere else where he could escape the spirit sense. Yemo believed that no matter how strong the divine emperor's spirit sense was, it couldn't scan into the bottom of the lake. As soon as Yemo jumped in, the spirit sense lock on was removed. Yemo could go into the golden page world now, but he didn't choose to. He still had an opportunity to run. Yemo was at his max speed and kept dashing around at the bottom of the lake. He knew that the divine emperor was in the lake now, but his spirit sense was limited in the lake, so he couldn't be sure where he was. Rumble. The water splashed apart, and Yemo immediately knew something was going on at the bottom of the lake. He carefully dived, but found a huge golden door was wide open. Yemo saw the Tao Essence Divine Estates restriction was smashed open, and a few people went inside. The latter people also dashed in. Yemo's first impulse was to go in too, but he instantly changed his mind. He didn't go in, and instead threw down a surveillance formation disc like the rocks at the lake bed and left. He controlled the Golden Page world to mix into the mud at the lake. Hiding in the Golden Page world, Yemo was confused. Why was there no Tao Essence Chi in this Tao Essence Divine Estate? Yemo had never seen Tao Essence Chi, but there was very little ancient feeling to this estate. Soon, Yemo felt he was thinking too much. Perhaps the Tao Essence Divine Emperor didn't die for long. With the Tao Essence Divine Estate open, even the half-divine outside the Divine Estate couldn't resist. The Tao Essence Divine Estate attracted him too much. To him, the well was very important, but it could be delayed. Going in the Tao Essence Divine Estate was the most important thing. Seeing the Divine Emperor go into the Tao Essence Divine Estate, Yemo breathed easy. The only pity was that he couldn't go in to get rich, and that half-divine went inside. He couldn't even deal with him. Just when Yemo wanted OT, leave the Golden Page world and flee, another figure appeared in the surveillance formation disc. Yemo quickly stopped. He almost forgot about the Divine Emperor breaking the formation. How did this guy come so late? What shocked Yemo was that this Divine Emperor didn't go in and instead sneered before throwing down tens of formation flags. This Divine Emperor was clearly setting up a top trap and attack formation. Even he can't set up such formation. As the Divine Emperor kept throwing out formation flags, the golden door slowly shut. Such an evil guy. Yemo took in a cold breath. Clearly, he wanted to catch everyone who went in. At this moment, Yemo realized that this Tao Essence Divine Estate was just a bit. As for what it was used for, Yemo knew it was related to the Divine Emperor's cultivation method. It was already extremely eerie with the blood-red lake water, and now, with the Tao Vindication Divine Emperor trapping people here with a Tao Essence Divine Estate. Yemo didn't want to stay here an extra minute, but the Divine Emperor kept throwing out formation flags and restrictions. Yemo didn't dare to leave at this moment. Yemo watched the Divine Emperor and waited for the opportunity to go. After 15 minutes, the Divine Emperor suddenly took out a red jade bottle and gulped the bottle. Once he finished, he suddenly sensed something and frowned. The next moment, he landed next to Yemo's formation disc. He picked up that stone-like disc. Yemo was shocked. This old monster was so cunning. He didn't do anything, and yet the surveillance formation disc was found. With this, Yemo knew he couldn't keep hiding. It would only expose his golden page world. Without hesitation, Yemo dashed out of the golden page world and charged out. He just escaped from a Tao Actualization Divine Emperor and was now wanted by a Tao Molding Divine Emperor. Yemo was speechless. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2011. Insect Without Tao Vindication. Chapter 2011. Insect without Tao Vindication. This Divine Emperor immediately woke up when Yemo escaped and sneered. He stepped out and punched without even releasing magic artifact. At this moment, Yemo was 1 km from the Divine Emperor, but this punch rattled the entire lake water. The lake water smashed onto Yemo as a whole body. Yemo couldn't even resist and spat a few mouthful of blood. His body felt like it was about to collapse. If he wasn't a mortal god body, his body would have been completely pulverized. Yemo was extremely shocked. He was originally planning to fight this Divine Emperor. After all, Tao Molding Divine Emperor was just the beginning of Tao Vindication. He thought that if he could fight with a half-divine, he might be able to fight a few rounds with Tao Molding Divine Emperor. However, this Tao Molding Divine Emperor's punch shattered Yemo's fantasy. This was at a 1 kilometer distance. If it was face-to-face, Yemo probably couldn't even move. He was on par with half-divine, but he was a far cry from Tao Vindicators. Realizing this, Yemo dashed towards the lake surface. A top-level body, refinement cultivator. The Divine Emperor thought that an immortal Emperor middle stage would certainly die to this punch, but Yemo actually escaped and only just spat a few mouthfuls of blood. Yemo brought over a Tao Actualization Divine Emperor and saw his secret. How could he let Yemo go? But just when he moved, the formation flags he set up hummed and seemed to about to explode. The Divine Emperor's face changed. Of course, he knew that the Tao Actualization Divine Emperor was doing this. If the formation was broken, all his work would have been for nothing. He had to give up Yemo and go back to that door again and keep spraying down formation flags. He had to seal this formation completely shut. Yemo's spirit sense was watching the actions of this Tao Molding Divine Emperor. Seeing him go back, Yemo's heart relaxed. He dashed out of the lake as quickly as he could. He couldn't care about time whirlpools and used a few instant transmissions and used mobility technique for an entire day before stopping. He escaped to a swamp, but Yemo wasn't happy at all. He finally realized the difference between Tao Vindicators and ordinary immortal emperors. This was the difference of great god art. Even if he reached immortal emperor peak stage, if he didn't know a big god art, he might not be a match for a Tao Vindication Divine Emperor. That Divine Emperor's attack carried space law. All the waters within his law range were moved by his law. He completely used the force of the world to pressure him. This definitely wasn't something that his god art could counter. Yi Mo felt he was quite lucky. He originally thought that even if he was caught up to by that Tao actualization divine emperor, he would use great transmission god art and fight with his life. But now he realized that if he was really caught up, the Tao actualization divine emperor might bind the entire space. This wasn't the space binding of domain. Once space was bound, he wouldn't be able to use any god art. The insolent was fearless. If you didn't reach that level, you would never know the power of that level. Yi Mo didn't have the confidence had before. In this world, you're an insect if you didn't vindicate Tao. If he wanted to survive in this world, he would have to quickly vindicate Tao or he would die. Luckily, his golden page world was complete and he could use that to vindicate Tao. But before this, he would have to understand how to vindicate Tao. Yi Mo immediately called out Small Ginseng and Shadowless and said, "We're too weak right now. We have to find God Spirit Range and God Crystals to speed up cultivation. You two go out immediately and find God Crystals and God Spirit Range." Small Ginseng and Shadowless were very happy to do such things. They immediately went outside. A day later, Small Ginseng found a small God Crystals mine. Yi Mo dug inside for a whole day and only got a few thousand top-grade God crystals and tens of thousands of middle-grade God crystals. The second day, Small Ginseng seemed to have found something top-level and ran around like mad. Yi Mo and Shadowless knew of Small Ginseng's capabilities and immediately became excited. 2 hours later, Yi Mo looked at where Small Ginseng pointed speechlessly. He saw a God Spirit Range, a low-grade God Spirit Range, and it was surrounded by hills. Even a low-grade God Spirit Range was worth more than tens of extreme-grade immortal ranges. More importantly, it contained God Spirit Chi that was suitable for Yi Mo's cultivation now. Yi Mo was speechless because he saw more than 10 people surround it. No matter how shameless he was, he couldn't go up and rob it. Plus, there were 2 half-divines there. If they joined up, he would be outmatched. Never mind, there's already people here. Let's go to another place. Yi Mo shook his head. Small Ginseng said desperately, "Boss, I'm not talking about this one. A few thousand steps ahead of this one, there's more God Spirit Range. I don't know how many exactly, but I have to get close to be sure." Shadowless pretended and said, "Yeah, boss, I feel there's God Spirit Range over there too." He knew he was a far cry from Small Ginseng in terms of treasure hunting, but he said this to prevent Boss from thinking he's useless and throw him into the golden page world again. Yi Mo saw the people ahead and said, "Why don't we wait till they dig it before we go?" "No, if they dig it, they can sense the other God Spirit Ranges there. They don't know yet because they haven't pulled the God Spirit Range out. If they don't pull it out, the natural spirit stealthing formation won't be broken." Small Ginseng said desperately, "In that case, let's hurry and go there." Yi Mo dashed over the sky. He was more desperate than Small Ginseng. When Yi Mo came here, people already saw him. They haven't decided on how to split it, so they haven't dug it yet. Seeing an immortal emperor middle stage dare to come here, seemingly wanting a share too, those immortal emperors looked at him with contempt. God Spirit Range was good, but one needed the power to get it. But soon they realized Yi Mo didn't come for them and went alone to another mountain and released a shovel magic artifact and dug. He didn't stop at all. They were shocked because this shovel was an extreme grade immortal artifact and had no offensive capabilities. It was purely designed for digging God's Spirit Range. With each shovel, a small mountain-sized mud was swept away. "Haha, there's someone like him," one immortal emperor laughed. They were like watching a clown put on a show. They just dug out a low-grade God Spirit Range, and now someone wanted to try their luck on the side. If there were that many God Spirit Ranges, they wouldn't need to have discord in deciding how to split it. He seems to have an Ice Ginseng King next to him. That's something equivalent to a Dao fruit, or even better. Some people already saw small ginseng. Many people didn't say anything. They were planning to follow Yi Mo when he left. There really is God's spirit range, someone called out in shock. When Yi Mo dug for the third shovel, dense God spirit chi came out. It's not one, it's two, it's yin-yang duo range, another voice said. Yi Mo didn't understand yin-yang duo range before, but now he did. It was the best range for setting up sect formation. Putting the two together could automatically fill in God spirit chi that was tens of times better than a single range. Its use for cultivation was much better than one God spirit range too. He had dug out yin-yang dual range at the Luo Chu 18 discs and 36 heaven domains, but he didn't understand it at the time and waste it. Yi Mo was very quick. Before these people could come up, he already sent the two God spirit range into this golden page world. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2012. If you can't reason, then fight. Chapter 2012. If you can't reason, then fight. We chose the spot and haven't begun digging, but you took the yin-yang range away. Aren't you a bit too dominant? One immortal emperor middle stage who was signaled by a half-divine stopped Yi Mo, who was going to leave, and said. Yi Mo ignored the immortal emperor middle stage and put away small ginseng before saying to Shadowless, "Get ready to fight." I, Niaming have never seen an immortal emperor middle stage this cocky before. If it wasn't that my eyes are still open, I would have thought it was a divine emperor talking to me. Brother Lu, have you seen him before? A half-divine said from the distant. Unexpectedly, the Luo half-divine smiled. I've really seen it. Nyat Minglai sneered, clearly thinking that the half-divine was saying this to compete God's spirit range with him. He said to that immortal emperor middle stage, kill him. In this world, power was everything. You could be weak, but you needed to know to respect the powerful. If you didn't, then people would kill you for no reason. In his view, Yi Mo should have long been dead. That immortal emperor middle stage was waiting for the half-divine to say this and immediately released his am. But as soon as he did, he felt a powerful domain binding. The next moment, his magic artifact slowed, and even the light from it dimmed. Yi Mo hacked out with Zisu. God, art crevice. The small basin land couldn't cover the heaven-shattering purple beam. This purple beam was much more stronger than when Yi Mo used crevice before. The purple ray sliced across the entire basin and didn't care about the two half-divines and more than 10 immortal emperors standing in front of it. When this god art sliced down, all the people under it released their magic artifact. When they sensed the lethal force, even that half-divine's face changed. Splurge, that immortal emperor middle stage who wanted to stop Yi Mo, was killed before he could release his god art. The purple ray disappeared. Zisu was still floating above, but the basin was very quiet. Yi Mo scanned the rest and said, if no one else wants to rob me, I'm going. Niaminglia's face changed. Even he couldn't kill that immortal emperor middle stage in one move before he could activate his god art. What made him so annoyed was that Yi Mo was only immortal emperor middle stage, but he used god art so recklessly. Everyone was under the attack. This person is too cocky. Brother Luo, what do you think? Nia Minglai would have attacked already if he was the only half-divine here. However, the other half-divine smiled and said, Brother Nia, although we came first, but now I've changed my mind. I only want half of this low-grade God Spirit range. You can have that God Spirit herb from before. Then Lu Half-Divine waved his hand and that low-grade God Spirit range was brought up. He hacked with his magic artifact, and it was split evenly from the middle. Then he sliced one half of it into 5 pieces and said, You guys split it equally. Hearing this, The 5 took a piece without hesitation. Seeing this, Nyamingle's face changed and split the other half into 6, and he took the larger piece. Yi Emo didn't say anything. He knew things weren't over yet. He was ready for a big battle, but from the attitude of that Lu half-divine, Yi Emo didn't feel he wanted to fight him. After they split the god's spirit range, they found there was a broken natural stealth formation. So that's it. Nya Minglai finally understood why Yi Emo was going to dig out the 2 god spirit ranges immediately. The Lu half-divine's face was bad. He realized this too. Although Yi Emo didn't dig the god spirit range they found, it was pretty much robbing their thing. If we dig out the first god spirit range, the yin-yang dual range would be exposed. You dug it before us. If this isn't robbing, what is? Nya Minglai released his magic artifact and stopped in front of Yi Emo. The other 5 stopped in front of Yi Emo too. The Lu half-divine didn't leave and subtly sealed off Yi Emo's exit path. Clearly, he was unhappy with what Yi Emo did. When I dug the 2 god spirit ranges, did you know about it or not? Yi Emo asked. Nya Minglai didn't want to fall into Yi Emo's word traps. I clearly knew there were 2 low-grade god spirit ranges there. Nya Minglai sneered. What he didn't expect was that as soon as he said this, Yi Emo punched over. He thought Nya Minglai was going to reason, and he was going to explain. But since this guy was this shameless, what's the point in talking? As Yi Emo released Shatter Sky, he smashed out 5 lightning spear destruction. While pressing over with his immortal Emperor domain, Yi Emo had decided to kill Nya Minglai first, so he used Spirit, Sense God Art Crevice as well. Yi Emo used this move before and almost killed Feng Kong Grand Emperor. Feng Kong Grand Emperor's power at the time was no weaker than this half-divine. In Yi Emo's eyes, if Feng Kong Grand Emperor's immortal essence was completely converted to God essence, this Nya Minglai would be no match at all. The Void Fist force immediately swept over lethal force. Nya Minglai, who was amongst this terrifying lethal force, was very shocked. Facing against this terrifying space lethal force punch, he was like a small ship in raging ocean waters. Before he could think, he released his magic artifact, 3 God Flame Sand. It instantly formed 3 heaven sand rivers, black, white, and red. They were separated at the beginning, but as time went on, they were completely mixed, forming a whirlpool with soul-shocking flame. Rumble. Yi Emo's Shatter Sky Fist Force was swept in and disappeared in a few seconds. Yi Emo was shocked too. This was his first time seeing such terrifying magic artifact. When the 2 fought, no one came to gang up on him. Only Yi Emo knew it was because his domain's murderous chi was too ferocious, and the others weren't that close with Nya Minglai, so they wanted to conserve strength. No one wanted to be killed like that immortal Emperor middle stage. Nya Minglai was more shocked. Usually, when his sands devoured a god art, it would activate the flame in the middle of the sand. At this moment, if he activated the flame with full power, he would easily be able to kill his opponent. But today, his sands didn't ignite the middle flame. This meant that he would need to use his own god essence to light it up. That was very god essence consuming. He was also annoyed that no one else attacked Yi Emo. He couldn't care about that much, and just when he was going to use his god essence to activate the flame, he felt a 10 kilometers long purple sword ray appear in his sea of consciousness suddenly. It appeared from the edge of the heavens and was about to slice his sea of consciousness in half. He was all too familiar with this sword ray. Now that it appeared in his sea of consciousness, he immediately realized it was a top spirit sense god art. Nya Minglai couldn't care about activating his sand flames. He stacked up spirit sense walls, wanting to seal this terrifying purple sword ray. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2013, He Doesn't Dare. Chapter 2013, He Doesn't Dare Crack. That extremely terrifying tearing sound exploded in Nyamingle's sea of consciousness. His face went pale as a paper. In his sea of consciousness, the purple sword ray easily broke his spirit sense wall and smashed into his sea of consciousness. Nyamingli knew he was over. Other people couldn't hear the terrifying sound, but Nyamingli knew how unbearable it was. There was a huge, long crevice in his sea of consciousness, and his spirit sense withered rapidly. He could no longer control his magic artifact and god art. The three-color sand whirlpool slowed down and couldn't even defend, much less attack. Rumble. A few more lightning sounds came. 5 300-meter-long lightning spear suddenly arrived. Nyamingli knew he should use the three-color sand to stop it, but he couldn't control it. In just 1 second, the 5 lightning spear destruction drowned Nyamingli. When the lightning disappeared and people could see clearly, Nyamingli's burnt corpse remained on the ground. His storage ring and three-color sand were already taken by Yemo. Those immortal emperors who surrounded Yemo quickly retreated in shock. The other half-divine was extremely shocked too. He could feel that Yemo wasn't ordinary. That's why he didn't agree to join up with Nyamingli. Now that Yemo killed Nyamingli in such a short time, he was truly shocked. He knew Nyamingli's means clearly, especially that three-colored magic artifact. He didn't have the absolute confidence to beat Nyamingli, but this immortal emperor middle stage killed Nyamingli easily. His power was definitely much stronger than him. Nyamingli's face was suddenly pale and his magic artifact dimmed. Clearly, he was ambushed by Spirit Sense Cultivation Method. Spirit Sense Cultivation Method wasn't rare in the God Necropolis domain, but to use it to ambush a half-divine meant it was definitely a top Spirit Sense Cultivation Method. He didn't believe Nyamingli was underestimating the enemy, so the only possibility was that the Spirit Sense Cultivation Method was too strong, and this immortal Emperor middle stage's Spirit Sense was too powerful. Yemo ate a few dual spirit pills. The level wasn't high, but it was very helpful in recovering spirit sense. It was a huge toll on his spirit sense to ambush a half-divine. If the other 5 attacked him together, or that other half-divine attacked too, Yemo wasn't going to keep fighting. But Yemo calculated that when he killed Nyamingli so quickly, the other people wouldn't dare to come up. He guessed right. Those immortal emperors not only didn't dare to gang up on him, but retreated instead. The other half-divine didn't seem to want to fight at all. Dao, friend, you're strong. I'm Starfall Castle, Lu Guanyu. What's your name? The half-divine saluted with his fists. Yemo said plainly, I'm just passing by. If Brother Lu doesn't have any other business, then farewell now. Lu Guanyu didn't expect that Yemo didn't want to connect with him at all. He felt a bit awkward, but soon a dashing light came. Seeing this, Yemo stopped wanting to leave. He knew this dashing light. It was Hung God Corner young mistress. She was covered in blood right now and no longer had her pride. There was only horror in her eyes. Yemo's spirit sense immediately saw someone hunting her. He also knew the person hunting her. It was a half-divine who escaped from him, and his magic artifact was the Heaven's Shocking Lamp. It gave him a strong impression, as it could buff domain. The young mistress was very tattered. Seeing a few people here, she immediately charged over and called out, I'm Hung God Corner Hung Wan Man. Dao friends. She saw someone familiar and immediately landed next to Yemo. Yemo, please help me on Rinan's account. The Hung God Corner will thank you greatly. She was so desperate that she didn't even ask how Yemo got in here. Yemo's power was nothing to her, but she needed to ask him for help. She knew that if she kept fleeing, she would truly die. Yemo sneered. Her words were like shit to him. If it wasn't for Runan, he would have attacked her already. But Yemo didn't look attack. He didn't care if she looked down on him, because they would be people of 2 worlds. He hasn't left yet, because she has something he wants. He knew from Runan that she had at least 2 lightning sound ages fruits. He really needed it now, so he immediately said, "These are all my friends here. If you give me a lightning sound ages fruit, I promise you'll be fine." "How do you know I have it?" The young mistress looked at Yi Mo in horror, but she calmed down a bit as she saw the half-divine didn't come over to Yi Mo. She had the feeling that the half-divine wasn't looking at her, but at Yi Mo, "You don't need to worry about that. You just need to give me one, and you'll be safe. Otherwise, even if I don't attack you, everyone here has heard it, and you won't get away." Yi Mo said casually. Young mistress's face changed. She looked around at everyone and saw they were all looking at her. Now that it was exposed, she was certain if she left here, it wouldn't just be a half-divine hunting her. This basin was silent, but young mistress could tell no one came over. She subconsciously looked at the burnt body on the ground and actually believed these people were all Yemo's friends. Otherwise, why did no one attack her? At this moment, one immortal emperor tertiary stage suddenly saluted with his fists. "Everyone, I'll be leaving first." Clearly he didn't want to mess with Yi Mo, nor wait at this troublesome place. But just when he said this, Yi Mo said, "It's no rush. I'm discussing business with someone. Go after I'm done with this. Perhaps I might have some business to discuss with you." The immortal emperor tertiary stage's face changed. How could it be good that Yi Mo was discussing business with him? But he didn't move his foot at all. He had seen Yi Mo's power. If Yi Mo attacked him, how could he get away? Young mistress, who was very dubious, saw that with one word from Yi Mo, an immortal emperor tertiary stage didn't dare to leave. She was more certain of Yi Mo's words. Regardless if these were Yi Mo's friends, they were scared of him. She didn't hesitate and took out a lightning sound ages fruit jade box. "This is one, it's yours." Yi Mo felt the powerful time wave in the box and took it while saying, "Let me check its authenticity." The young mistress was furious. She felt Yi Mo was targeting her with this. Yi Mo opened the box, and indeed the flow of time came from the Dao fruit. There was a calling for him to explore. Yi Mo immediately closed the jade box and took in a long breath while putting the jade box away. He knew this was the real lightning sound ages fruit for sure. At this moment, Yi Mo saluted with his fists to everyone. "I've just made a deal with this person. Dao friends, please give me some face and let this hung God corner young mistress leave 5 minutes early. After that, I won't care about anything else. Do you have any opinions?" No one replied, but no one left. Yi Mo turned around to the extremely shocked young mistress. "You have 5 minutes. That's enough, right?" Young mistress suppressed her shock and immediately said, "That's completely enough. I'm worried about the person who came hunting for me." Then she looked at that half-divine, clearly fearful of his god art. Yi Mo sneered, "He doesn't dare to. I've let him go before. If he dares to attack, I will chase him through the entire Mu Hua God Mountains if need be to kill him." The Lu half-divine was even more shocked. He knew who this half-divine, hunting the young mistress, was. Yet, even he lost to this immortal emperor middle stage. 5 minutes was nothing to him, and he was willing to give Yi Mo some face. He didn't need to fight Yi Mo for this 5 minutes. However, the half-divine who chased over's face was green. There was killing qi circulating his body. It was as though he was about to explode at any time. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Although the half-divine was threatened by Yi Mo and wanted to immediately kill him, he thought of Yi Mo's powerful attacks and stopped his impulse. Although the half-divine was threatened by Yi Mo and wanted to immediately kill him, he thought of Yi Mo's powerful attacks and stopped his impulse. Soon he thought of something else and showed some coldness in his eyes. His expression calmed down, and he listened to Yi Mo, staying where he was. Seeing that the half-divine with a green face and not dare to hunt her, She rejoiced and disappeared in a dashing light. Seeing her leave, Yemo saluted with his fists and said, "Thank you for helping Tao friends. Now that there's 5 minches left, let's do some business." Hearing this, no one answered. Yemo just did some business with the young mistress, and a lightning sound age's fruit was gone like that. Who else dared to do business with Yemo? Did they think they had too much good things on them? Yemo didn't mind seeing this. He took out a stone table and placed a big jade bowl on the table. Then he poured down at the jade bowl with the jade bottle. Everyone was confused with what Yemo was doing. They all stared at the jade bowl, wanting to see what Yemo was pouring out. Its 7-star extreme well, people immediately recognized and stared at it with their eyes wide open. Was this something that could be taken out so easily? This was a treasure that could compare with Tao fruits. If it wasn't that Yemo's power was too absurd, there would be people going up and robbing it. Yemo didn't mind and said, "That's right, this is 7-star extreme well. I'm using it to exchange for fake chaos spirit herbs or some divine Tao spirit items." God spirit herbs were fake chaos spirit herbs. It didn't have level difference, but different God spirit herb had huge difference in price. Yemo wanted to exchange for these God spirit herbs to get ready to break through to divine pill emperor. Those who could concoct God level and above pills were divine pill emperors. Whether you concocted pills for Tao molding divine emperor or primordial essence divine emperor, they were all called divine pill emperor. Since the ancient times, it was extremely rare for people to reach pill divine, as it not only required pill concoction skills, but also cultivation level. You even had to have God flame, or you couldn't become divine pill emperor. You could concoct God pills with immortal flames or even nirvana flames, but that was the lowest level God pill. It didn't even have God runes, much less Tao runes or world law. If it involved Tao fruit or top level God spirit herb, then God flame was required. In order to concoct God pill, you must fuse inside your understanding of world law and preserve the world law of the Tao fruits. You couldn't do this if you didn't have high enough cultivation level. Although everyone who could concoct God pills were called divine pill emperors, but in order to divide them, there was names respective to the cultivation level. Those who could concoct Tao molding God pills were called Tao molding divine pill emperor. Those who could concoct Tao acutalization God pills were called Tao actualization divine pill emperor. In fact, after immortals vindicate Tao, they rarely use pills, as the cultivation after Tao vindication is determined by your understanding of world laws. Fusing these understandings into your great God are required, not just pills. Most importantly, there were pretty much no divine pill emperors after Tao essence. Therefore, people had to rely on themselves to learn world laws, and because of that, Tao fruits and chaos spirit items are so precious. Even if Tao fruits and chaos spirit items are consumed directly, their effects are amazing. Yemo didn't take out the well water to be cocky. He had his plans. He had the yin-yang dual range and the age's fruit. He was planning to go to a place for solitary cultivation. He wasn't going to wait till the mountain closed and then go out with everyone. If he dared to go out, it would be suicide. Yemo asked Nyo Runin about the Muhua, God Mountain. If the place closed, you had to go out or the time whirlpools would ravage everywhere. Yemo didn't want to go out, but he had his own way. His golden page world's 5 elements were complete. If he stayed in here, even if he couldn't go anywhere else, he could stay inside the golden page world and cultivate. Yemo suspected that the Tao vindication divine emperor at the Changzheng lake had been cultivating in the mountain. With this precedent, what would Yemo be afraid of? Seeing the well, the eyes of that Lu half-divine lit up. He immediately took out more than 10 types of God's spirit herb to Yemo and said, "Tao friend, have a look at how much these God's spirit herb can get." Yemo saw that the God spirit herbs were very ordinary. They were hard to find in the immortal realm, but not so extraordinary in the God necropolis domain. So he said, "You can get 1 bottle. I'll give you the bottle. You put it in yourself." Then Yemo waved out a jade bottle. Seeing this, The Lu half-divine rejoiced, feeling that this trip was worth it. He was only expecting half as much. With this, the other immortal emperors took out their god spirit herbs to trade with Yi-Mo. They wouldn't take out their precious ones, it was just ordinary ones, but Yi-Mo didn't reject them at all. 5 minutes later, the bowl of well water was long gone. Only that half-divine with the heaven-shocking lamp didn't come, but he didn't leave either. His eyes were very calm, as though the differences between them were settled. Yi-Mo put away everything and said, "Thank you, everyone. The business will end here today. It was a pleasant deal. Goodbye." Then turned and left. Everyone said goodbye to Yi-Mo. After Yi-Mo left, the half-divine followed the direction Yi-Mo left. Just after 10 seconds, Yi-Mo stopped and looked coldly at the half-divine and said, "Do you want to fight with me again? I promise you won't get away this time." Yi-Mo had his concerns. He used too much spirit sense before, and although he didn't fear fighting this half-divine, it was probably hard to keep him here. "I'm no match for you. It's pointless to keep fighting." The half-divine said calmly, "Then what did you chase me up for?" Yi-Mo asked. The half-divine took out a gust of gray lines and said, "Because of this, if you want it, we can collaborate." Yi-Mo scanned the line, and his eyes narrowed quickly. This line gave him the same feel as the age's fruit. However, this line carried the murderous chi of the ages. This was definitely a top-level treasure. "What is this?" Yi-Mo asked calmly. However, this half-divine just threw it to Yi-Mo and said, "Have a look. If you like it, we can discuss the collaboration." Yi-Mo grabbed the gray line and felt the impure time chi. He blurted out, "This is primordial abstruse string?" The half-divine laughed. "You're right, it's only a bit, but if you're willing to collaborate, we can get tens or even hundreds of times more." Yi-Mo didn't think this half-divine would be good enough to collaborate with him, but he didn't want to give this line back, so he said, "Sure, how much for this string?" "This string is nothing. If we collaborate, there's large sums of them waiting for us to collect." The half-divine persisted. Yi-Mo smiled. "I have to get this deal done before we collaborate. Name your price." "Okay, you can give me any bowl of 7-star extreme well water. The main part is the discussion on how we share things." The half-divine spoke as though he didn't care about the well at all. "You took out a bowl only 1/10 of the one before and gave it to him. Done deal. And I gave you a jade bowl for free. Since this guy wanted to act cool, he'll let him have it. If he had smaller bowls, he would take it out. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 2015 Improve Power. Chapter 2015 Improve power to Yi-Mo. He would deal without hesitation, even if he took out a few of the first big bowls. Getting this ball of primordial abstruse silk was a big earn for him. He wouldn't hesitate at all. Okay. This half-divine put a few restrictions on the jade bowl while the corner of his lips spasmed. "Okay, let's talk about our collaboration." He meant a bowl that was as big as before, but he didn't expect Yi-Mo to give such a small bowl. However, he said nothing. With how greedy Yi-Mo was, he would fall into traps eventually. "Tell me, I'm listening." Yi-Mo said casually, "The place I'm talking about is Shan Yun Cliff. It's 10,000 km from Shan Yun Cliff. I got my string there. If you're willing to collaborate, we can go there together." The half-divine didn't seem to be worried. Yi-Mo couldn't see any signs of lying from the half-divine's eyes, but he still asked, "Since there's such a good place, why would you invite me over?" The half-divine said plainly, "Although I want to kill you, but I know only you have the right to get the strings with me. If it's someone weaker, he would be no match for that person." "You're saying there's already someone there?" Yi-Mo asked with a scorn. The half-divine said, "It's because I can't deal with him alone that I left helplessly. Don't worry, although that person isn't weak, he doesn't know where the exact location of the primordial abstruse strings are. I've seen your heaven-shocking lamp. Whose god art could be more powerful than that? You wouldn't be lying to me, right? Yi Mo's tone went cold. He wanted the primordial abstruse strings, but his spirit sense power hasn't recovered yet. He didn't trust this half-divine at all. It's because that person knows a great god art, so what you're saying he knows great god art? Yi Mo interrupted. Yes, it's because of that I want to find a powerful help. Yi Mo sneered, you can go find one then. Then Yi Mo ignored this person and left in a dashing light. If that half-divine still chases him, he would kill him without hesitation, even if it meant him using his spirit sense again. If it was before, Yi Mo might really impulsively go fight an immortal who knows great god art, but after seeing the Tao Vindication Divine Emperor's god art, he completely realized that no matter how invincible he was amongst peers, he would be no match for Tao Vindication Divine Emperor. Those who knew great god art was Divine Emperor for sure. This half-divine wanted to trick him over so he could kill him using someone else. Even if that person was not Divine Emperor, Yi Mo wasn't going to fight him if the new god art. He knew that before he reached Tao Vindication, he definitely wouldn't be able to beat those powerful beings with great god art. That's why Yi Mo left without explanation. The half-divine's face went green BTU. He didn't dare to keep chasing Yi Mo. If he dared to, then Yi Mo would kill him. He didn't expect Yi Mo to have fought someone with great god art. If he knew, he might try another way. Usually, no matter how powerful the mortal emperor, if he fought with a being with god art, he would die. How could Yi Mo live freely? Such a cunning guy. When I reach Tao Vindication, the first I will kill is you, the half-divine said. A few days later, Yi Mo found this extremely far barren lands and went underground and into the Golden Page world. After coming in, Yi Mo found in shock that his world had completely changed. The world was almost changing every moment. He stood in the air and felt that once his cultivation level reached a certain level, he could control the weather in this world. Yi Mo looked at the chaos tree. It withered quite a lot due to saving him before, but now it had completely grown and was greener than before. Yi Mo could still feel its intimacy and calling to him. Yi Mo thought of what Small Ginseng said. If his world was completed, the chaos tree could recognize him as master. But Yi Mo didn't do this immediately. He wanted to do this after he vindicated Tao. Chaos tree was a spirit item and even had its own thinking. Yi Mo had the feeling that when he vindicated Tao, the chaos tree and Golden Page world could all help him. Everything was going as Yi Mo pleased. He put down the rest of the things and started to organize the storage rings. What made Yi Mo rejoiced was that in these storage rings he found nearly 200k top-grade god crystals and half a low-grade god spirit range. Other than this, he found tens of god spirit herb and even 2 Tao fruits. Regardless if it was law Tao fruit or not, it was still extremely valuable. Yi Mo was forgery grandmaster, so he didn't care about magic artifact, but even so, he still found a low-grade flying god artifact. It was even faster than the space-time boat. Yi Mo held a fist-sized rock. It was completely blue and had strong spiritual power. There's a purple waystone. Yi Mo rejoiced. This stone was almost as valuable to him as Tao fruit. It said that only purple waystars would have this stone. It's a top-level god artifact forgery material. He didn't expect a half-divine to have this. His Zisu desperately needed an upgrade, and getting the purple waystone and the primordial abstruse strings was perfect. With these 2 materials, Yi Mo could definitely keep upgrading his Zisu. He was a top forgery grandmaster, and he wasn't worried about flame. His blue, like morning sky, was already a top immortal flame. He just needed astral flame marrow to upgrade it, and he happened to have it, but just haven't used it yet. He put away these things and started to set up the yin-yang dual range and a time formation disc. He cultivated to Immortal Emperor peak stage. He had large amounts of god crystals and god spirit chi. As for Tao fruits, Yi Mo didn't use it now. He didn't even take it out to look again. He knew now that if he used them now, it would be a waste. At the bottom of the Chengzheng Lake, the Tao Molding Divine Emperor eventually didn't trap the Tao Actualization Divine Emperor. After his Golden Gate was attacked a few times, the Tao Actualization Divine Emperor smashed it open with magic artifact. Those tens of immortal emperors tricked and came out with the Tao Actualization Divine Emperor. Seeing this, the Tao Molding Divine Emperor immediately ran off. However, what he didn't expect was that this Tao Actualization Divine Emperor didn't chase after him immediately, and instead kept looking for Yi Mo. Clearly, he knew from other immortal emperors that Yi Mo got more good things. Even that yellow cloud robe, half divine, was looking for Yi Mo. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2016 Difficult Decision. Chapter 2016 Difficult Decision. Time flew by. Yi Mo had been in the Muhua God Mountain for a few decades, and a Tao Actualization Divine Emperor who waited outside left that desert. But before he left, he still set up all sorts of formations and restrictions. If Yi Mo came out and touched these formations and restriction, he would know immediately. He didn't believe that a mortal emperor middle stage would die. He was certain that Yi Mo didn't die. The blue bead Yi Mo took from the purple-robed man was beyond truth spirit world. Such thing might really survive the Muhua God Mountain. In a place outside the immortal realm 33 heaven domains, there was an extended mountain range. The nearby rivers surrounded this mountain range, and extremely dense immortal spirit well surrounded the area. Immortal birds and immortal spirit beasts ran around. If one didn't come here personally, they would definitely not know there was such a beautiful place outside the 33 heaven domains. This place was the small heaven domain. On the main peak of the mountain range, there was an extremely ancient yet exquisite palace, doors opening. Two women came here with dashing light. "Come in." A benign voice sounded. Sect members Luo Biue and Mu Shaoyan greet master. The two women came in and bowed down. There was a man sitting at the top of the palace whose age couldn't be seen. He seemed really old in one moment and really young in another moment. He nodded and said, "Stand on the side." Luo Biue and Mu Shaoyan carefully stood on the side, and this man said, "I've been out once. There was a battle at the top of Snow Volcano. The top is heavily damaged. It's probably very hard for you to rebuild the Gemini sect." The two listened intently. Seeing this, the man nodded and continued, "I went out of solitary cultivation and heard about something. There's a tunnel to the god Necropolis domain from the immortal realm. This is a realm formation door. However, you must be at least immortal emperor to enter. Biue, your cultivation speed recovered quickly, and you're already immortal emperor primary stage. Shaoyan is an unbelievable prodigy. You've reached abstruse immortal in less than 100 years. Master, what is the god Necropolis domain?" Luo Biu asked in shock. The man sighed, "The sacred grounds for Tao Vindication. I heard it's extremely broken down, but even so, Tao Vindication is common there. One can not only reach Tao Vindication, but also go beyond that. You can surpass Tao Molding Divine Emperor and even reach Tao Essence or higher. There's no Tao Vindicator who doesn't want to go to God Necropolis domain. I've seen Divine Emperor from the god Necropolis domain come. He didn't reach Tao Essence, but the immortal realm is broken due to him. His great god art still scares me when I think about it. Master, are you going to the god Necropolis domain?" Luo Biue asked in confusion. She felt this place was very good. She wanted to rebuild the Gemini sect, not go to some god Necropolis domain. The man said, "Yes, you're already immortal emperor power. There's no pressure going to god Necropolis domain. As for Shaoyan, I can barely bring her in with my DMBD. Her talent is extremely absurd if she can cultivate in the god necropolis domain. She can probably surpass me in the future. Master, disciple don't want to go to the god necropolis domain. Mu Xiaoyun quickly said, Why? You have more future and potential there. I've seen the void formation door. Its formation means are extremely high. Even so, it won't last very long. Once the door breaks, the god necropolis domain, people can come into immortal realm. Everyone in the immortal realm will be fish on chopping board. Entering the god necropolis domain is for self-protection. The man said, My cultivation motivation has been to find my husband. Now, I've come to the immortal realm. It's even further than the magical continent. If I go to the god necropolis domain, I wouldn't know when I would be able to see my husband again. Mu Xiaoyan quickly said. The man frowned upon hearing this. Even a Tao Vindication Divine Emperor like me can't break into the cultivation realm easily, much less enter a mortal realm. I went out once just for your matter. There's an ancient realm traversing formation in the immortal realm. If you find that formation and then use them runes, you can go to the cultivation realm, Master. Mu Xiaoyan called out in excitement. If there really was that formation, she could go back to the magic continent and see Yemo again. According to Marshall's sister Bua, Yemo might be foundation establishment state. If she kept wasting time and Yemo couldn't reach golden core state, she wouldn't be able to see her husband again. If she could see Yemo, she wouldn't care about some cultivation or Tao Vindication. The man sighed, but after I've been to that place, the formation is already broken due to use. At least 3 bunch of people used it. Even with my capabilities, I can't repair it, despite having some top-level realm-traversing runes. It's pointless if we don't have the formation. Seeing Mu Xiaoyun's pitiful look, the man could only say, Xiaoyan. Other than that person, you're the most talented person I've seen. With your talent, if you can reach Tao Vindication quickly and reach Tao Actualization, you can probably tear the realm barrier of the immortal realm and return to the cultivation realm. So it's not hard for you to go to the god necropolis domain, and it's not bad either. Your cultivation method has a very big origin. Even I can't see through it. That will benefit you even more. Master, after going in the god necropolis domain, can I come back to the immortal realm? Mu Xiaoyan felt more sad. No matter how much she trusted Yemo, in a spirit-chi-arid place like the magical continents, Yemo wouldn't be able to reach golden core state. She didn't believe Yemo could find the place she went. Even if Yemo found that place and entered the cultivation realm, it was the law of the jungle everywhere. Would Yemo be lucky to get protected by a sect? She hoped Yemo reached golden core state and found a place to hide so she can go find him after she reached Tao Actualization. Hearing this, the man said slowly, No, if one can easily return to the immortal realm from the god necropolis domain, I believe the immortal realm would have long been taken over. Master, I don't want to go. Mu Xiaoyan said in a low voice. She had her plans. If she stayed in the immortal realm, even if she couldn't go back to the magical continent one day, Yemo might be able to ascend to the immortal realm. Then, she would be able to see Yemo again. If she went to the god necropolis domain, then there was almost no chance to see Yemo. The man clearly knew what Mu Xiaoyan thought and said calmly, I can understand what you think. I can clearly tell you that the formation door will only last a few hundred years. After that, the formation door will break, and people from the god necropolis domain can easily entree the immortal realm. If they do, it might mean the entire immortal realm would be forged into a truth spirit world. Luo Bua shivered. This would mean that everyone in the immortal realm would be insects and livestock. Mu Xiaoyan shivered. She clearly knew what this meant too. Seeing this, the man continued, And I feel that an enemy of mine hasn't died. His soul has gathered, and in at most 100 years he would rebirth. If this person returns to life, my small heaven domain would be crushed. This is why I have to go to the god Necropolis domain. Who is this person, master? Luo Bue subconsciously asked. The man sighed. He's called Truth Divine Emperor. Although I'm a Divine Emperor and have a title called Jinzhong Divine Emperor, I feel the things I did before wasn't careful at all. Since this has already happened, there's no point complaining. Despite this, the man was satisfied as he was the only one who survived the battle with Truth Divine Emperor entirely. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.